App.
On your left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See,
I'm looking at the intro, so I don't look at your camera to see what you're doing.
You shouldn't.
No.
Don't ever look over there.
Don't ever look over there. That was crazy.
You never
All
know
right.
what kind of crazy shit I'm gonna do.
Right? Anyway, we are live for episode 44 of Two Fat Guys Pool List. Welcome.
Oh my god.
What?
That was way worse than I was expecting.
was
I was
pretty bad.
watching it delayed, and yeah, that was bad.
That's funny. Anyway, so we're again live here on a Sunday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time to talk about this week's pools. It's a beefy week yet again. I think next week we finally
we only
get,
do beefy hauls.
Well, next week is not so beefy.
Wrong. We're gonna pick up extra books to make it extra beefy.
Hell no, I'm not. I'm budgeting for only 16 next week, and then there'll be like a hardcover that I forgot I ordered. I mean, he's kind of red. He's ominous back there. What up, Jaden? But yeah, as we do always when we start our live shows, we're going to take care of some business. So first, we're going to talk about our Two Fat Guys Pool List Mystery Pool. Every time we go live, we talk about this. It's our monthly comic book subscription service that is sponsored by Collected Comics and Games and Brainy Comics. So that is our LCS that we frequent here in the DFW area, Collected Comics and Games in Fort Worth. And so we've partnered up with them to put together, a lot of other podcasts and actual comic book stores do mystery pull boxes. And we said, you know what, let's get into it. So this is ours. What you get in each box is one store exclusive, 4 to 7 back issues comprising anywhere from between bronze, silver, or modern age books, and then a chance to win a big key or slab or possible custom piece of artwork on a blank comic book cover. And to join that community, it's $40 plus shipping. We do. I think we do. We do. I think we ship to I know we ship to Canada, and I believe we ship to Mexico as well. But then outside of basically the North America, it's a little. It may cost extra. I'm not sure. We haven't really had anybody from like the UK or from Europe subscribe yet. So that's the deal with that. We don't have what we're giving or what June's store exclusive is yet. We're still have to get with Ron to talk to him about that. We don't know what we're giving away yet, but stay tuned on our social, Facebook and Instagram, even Twitter. We will announce the store exclusive and the key and or slab and or custom piece of art that we're giving away for the month of June. So that's that. Last piece of last piece of business that we have to take care of. We are giving away a slab. We're doing milestone giveaways here on this channel. So at 100 subscribers, we gave away a slab, and now we're closing in on 250 subscribers. I believe the last I checked, we were at 231.
Yes, that is where we are.
So 231 subscribers. When we hit 250, which we are so close, we're 19 away. We are going to be giving away the CGC graded 9.8 Batman Who Laughs Dark Knight metal tie-in. So this is a pretty book. It's a foil cover. So we will be giving this away when we hit 250 subscribers. We'll pick a winner when we hit 250, and we will announce it in that next live show. So make sure to be subscribed, hit that like button, comment. Make sure to comment and chat tonight too, guys. We want to hear about what y'all read this week, which y'all thought was great. And yeah, so that's our business for today. We're gonna do things a little bit differently tonight. Shaking it up a little bit, and we're starting with our DC books instead of our Marvel books because we got a handful of DC books. So that's one reason for it, because there's a shit ton of Marvel books we got to get through. At least I do. But also it's because I think DC's books were just a little bit better this week.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say this: if we take one of these books out from our DC list, they're probably on equal footing, Marvel and DC this week. But then there's just this one DC book that just
it's just barely a DC book.
Well, it's got the DC label on it, so we got to talk about it as if it were a DC book. And it literally blew every comic out of the water this week. And I think it probably blew out of like all the comics this year for you, right? Like this is
definitely my top 5 for the year so far. Absolutely no doubt, no question. Man,
Lee, what's up? Patrick, how you doing? All right, so
hello.
Without further ado, let's kick off the show. We're going to start with our DC books, and we're starting with The Nice House on the Lake, which this is your pick of the week, yes?
This is my pick of the week, for sure.
And it's my pick of the week, so Fusion Dance.
That's the guys. Pick of the week.
I can't get my fingers in the screen.
Or I have to go up, and you got to go down. Yeah, we're gonna turn out to be like the fat Go Tanks, but we're already fat, so that's like a basic transformation.
We're just
You still there? Your audio kind of cut out there a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You like digitized. Anyway, so this is our pick of the week. I'm gonna let you break this down because I know like you're super excited about it, and then I'll just like sprinkle my excitement over you.
Okay. So I think one caveat we have to do, because it seems like at least Jaden said he's going to pick this up, but that I'm assuming hasn't read it yet. And we can't ruin the big reveal. Okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Can't ruin it. And I think we can be as enthusiastic as we need to without ruining that part.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, for sure.
So this book starts out in a fourth wall breaking Quentin Tarantino future setting. And what I mean by Quentin Tarantino is we start in the future and then we go back. But it literally starts with one of the main characters staring straight forward and like talking to the reader.
Mm-hmm.
And she is basically like in tattered clothes, has something wrapped around her head, looks like she had an injury to the eye, band-aid over the nose, like seems like she's pretty injured. And she basically tells this story of how she met this mysterious guy at a random birthday party one day. Yeah. And he talks to her and basically says like, how do you think the world will end? Like, what do you think might happen? What's a realistic way that the world might end? And they just talk about that for a little bit, and that's like a weird kind of conversation that they have. And even after that party is over, they kind of continue that. They like every once in a while he'll text her, she'll text him, and they'll just be like, "Oh, about our conversation," and they'll just randomly start talking about it again. And it kind of seems flirty, kind of seems
yeah, like what are you having for breakfast? Oh yeah, by the way, how do you think the world's gonna end again?
Right, and they're talking about these post-apocalyptic settings and stuff like that.
Right.
And then it literally cuts to this really cool panel that we do this a couple of times, where there are actual pages like emails and stuff. Like it actually looks like a computer screen or whatever it is, a phone screen at one point. And this guy that she really doesn't know that well, but does kind of know, invites her out to this lake house getaway in Wisconsin.
That's not creepy.
And basically he's like, hey, I'm inviting a bunch of people out here. Like we've all, variously fallen in and out of touch over time. I think it'd be cool to get everyone together. Let's have a big, nice getaway on this really awesome lake house that my friend's letting me use for free. I think it'd be great. And this, our main character being the artsy type, free spirit kind of gal, like, yeah, what's up? Let's do it. Like, sounds good. But
Barbarossa, what up? Thank you for the subscription.
Ah, thanks.
Live sub.
I forgot we had one of those.
Yeah, right. I need to change those to the Street Fighter versus X-Men.
Yes. Anyway, so she shows up to the lake house, and we proceed to basically get an introduction to all of our characters. And not only is this a great way to introduce the characters to us as a reader, but it's something that's happening in the story. Walter, the main guy, has basically set up like an identity for everybody so that they can sort of get to know other people better, and you just have ways to kind of break the ice. So our main character, she is known as the artist, Ryan. You also have the comedian, David. You have the accountant, the scientist, the reporter, the consultant. You get the picture. Pianist, doctor. Like we get all these different characters, and then we get just Walter, who doesn't have his own instruction. But you will notice
Walter.
You will notice as each of these people are being introduced, there's a little box about them, and it says, it's really interesting. It's like, says their name, and it also is like a codex of how Walter knows these people. Literally, they're identified in what clusters he knows them from. One of them says high school cluster. The other one says New York cluster. And first encountered, not first met, first encountered 19 years ago, blah, 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 blah. And then each one has its own symbol.
Which we see on the cover there.
Yes. So what you see on the cover just below the nice house on the lake is each symbol for each different person and the things. Also, Flores says he was just watching last week's video and saw that we were live. So that's awesome.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
We're so glad you're here.
Now you don't have to catch up. You can watch it live.
Manny, what's up? Man, I'm sorry. I keep on butting into your review.
You're good.
But
No,
we got
you're
people in
good.
chat that need to be recognized.
Addressed. And so basically what we do is we get very much like an introduction, like little montage where Ryan is walking around. There's one particular person that she knows. I cannot remember that character's name, but
there's a couple of them. I thought there were a couple of people that she knew. Like there's
but she is roomed up with Nora, the writer.
Okay.
Who is a transgender character as well. I really like that representation being present in this book.
I like how how Tinian or Tiny Onion, yeah. How he dropped that in. So like you were saying, they've got those character cards essentially, and then it said like because some of them have in red like head of the Democratic Party or something like that, and with Nora, right? Nora.
Yeah, Nora.
On hers it says, what does it say? It says something like it's changed.
Says name and gender revised 5 years
revised
ago.
Yeah, I was like, that's clever. Like I like that a lot.
Yeah, and there's a couple of people that have government links, and so in big bold red letters it says government links. I feel like I'm going way too into it.
Okay, all right. But, well, yeah. So
but basically,
yeah, go for it.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
No. This is your. I wasn't gonna pick this book up until you were like, bro, to go pick up this book.
So we basically get a little bit of like a montage, segment where Ryan's getting walked around the house, first by Nora, and then she gets picked up by another character, and they're just kind of going around, and we're learning a little bit about each character. We're getting little snippets of their conversations and stuff, and it very much already has this like the art to me has this super classic, Last House on the Left sort of cabin fever, Hills Have Eyes, sort of just like a lot of like sit back panels and then up close panels. Like to me, just the horror element setup is really good.
Also the spreads. I think there's like at least 3 spreads in this book that are just like absolutely gorgeous. Like when they reveal that, like when they reveal the house on the lake, I was like, holy shit! Like I'd put that up on my wall. Like.
Yeah,
that looks so good. And then, like you said at the beginning of the book, where our main character is talking to us, like literally talking to the reader, and it just throws you in, and you're like, like it's very colorful, it's very graphic, and not in like when I say graphic, like just very detail oriented. And I immediately when I opened the book, because I was like, I don't know about this, and then when I hit that first page, I was like, yeah, no, this is this looks really good.
The art is phenomenal in this book. And as an aside, I believe Tinian worked with Bueno on Detective Comics on his run in Detective as well, and so that makes me want to go like buy that omnibus right away. Because
yeah, for sure.
These two paired up, even just from this one issue, I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
But basically, Walter shows up. Night falls, and everyone's just sort of chilling out by the pool. It's nighttime. Walter's grilling up some food. People are just sort of chatting. And one thing that keeps coming up is that no one has reception, that they can't get their phone to work. But then we pan to Ryan sitting in her chair, and it turns out that her phone does work. And I am not going to give away what she sees on her phone, but what she sees.
I wonder
why she has
why she has reception.
Yeah, I wonder if that was on. Surely that had to have been on purpose. I think.
No,
like she was
Walter. Yeah.
So something
really,
is something.
This is really hard to like give a review and not spoil it, because I know like a lot of people in chat haven't read it. Go read it.
So we're almost there. So and then we can. So something extreme happens. That Nora sees, or that Ryan sees on her phone. They all go inside. They check the TV to see if it's real. It's real. And that is a big shock on its own. Like, what happens is fucked crazy. It's crazy. And then we get another reveal. Yeah, Manny says, I feel like Walter wanted her to tell everyone. I think so too. Like, I just want to know why was she chosen? I mean, obviously we're seeing that through her eyes, so it makes sense that she would be the one.
Her symbol is the artist, right? She's the artist?
She is the artist, yeah.
Artist, okay.
So they go inside and they, see that yes, this indeed is real. And I'm going to think of how to. There's a confrontation with Walter.
Let's do this. Before you go any further, if you're watching this live now, put us on mute. We're gonna spoil. No, come on. I want it. It's so much fun. I want to talk about it.
I don't care. I don't want to. We're gonna have to do it later. When? On a live show when people just did it. I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to spoil it right now. I don't spoil it.
Manny's like, please spoil it. I want to talk about it because he read it too.
Something. We get a second big drop that Walter is not Walter. Walter. It's not how he appears. Nope. And that our main characters are stuck in this house. So
on the lake.
On the lake, yes. The nice one. The nice house on the lake. So there's so many little Jaden's like, no.
On mute.
there are so many little tidbits in here that the story blew me away. Just first of all, the first time I read through it, I was just like, I don't know, it's right up my alley. I don't know. Did you ever watch Cloverfield when it first came out?
Yeah.
So Cloverfield came out when I was like 16, about 15, 16 years old. At the time I was a RTVF, wanting to be major. Obviously I was in high school, so I wasn't a major yet, but like that was what I was going to school for. I was taking film classes in high school, and I saw Cloverfield, and it was just so different than everything.
People
than everything we had seen before.
People in chat want us to talk about it. I think we should just talk about it. Jaden's on mute. Lee, if you're here and you want to read this book, put us on mute.
Fine.
Here we go.
This is the warning.
What up, Maddie? 3, 2, 1. We're gonna talk about it. Here we go. Okay. So the reveal is what Ryan sees on her phone is essentially people posting on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the social sites about just straight up chaos or their personal experience of what's going on. People are bursting into flames. People are pulling their skin off and they can't feel it when they're pulling it off. They're dissolving. People are just literally dying.
One guy is live on Twitch when his eyeballs suddenly just absolutely burst into flames.
Yeah.
And then flame starts pouring out of his mouth and elbows.
So I think what the beautiful part about that page is there, we're saying all these things. Most of it is all text. Most of it is all like description. So you're not really seeing these things happen. So your brain really fucks with you. Like, well, what would that look like? Where would it start? So there's the first like, oh shit bomb dropped in this book. So Ryan sees all of this. She sees Anderson Cooper like just explode on live TV. And people are, New York is first to fall. Then it hits Chicago. Then there's a tweet about the president dying. Like, everything is going to shit in a matter of minutes. So she runs back to the house where everybody is, where everybody is basically chilling out. They're chilling out with Walter. Walter is just cooking up hamburgers and having drinks, and there's people in the pool, and it's just a good old time. And she goes and runs with her phone and basically is like, hey, the world is ending. it's falling apart. And so everybody is, at first they're like, there's no way this can be real. This has to be fake. And they run into the house to watch the TV, watch TV to see if it's real, and it is. And like an emergency broadcast thing is going off. So, it's clearly real. Shit is going down. And as this is happening, people in the house are like, well, we need to get out of here. We need to get back to like Milwaukee and go figure out what we need to go do. And that's when Ryan's kind of looking at Walter like, hey, we should figure this out. And he's just kind of got like this shit-eating grin on his face, kind of like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And so he continues to tell everyone, hey, by the way, you can't leave the house. Everyone you knew is either dead or is dying. I have selected all of you to be here to stay alive for the rest of your days. This is where you live now. Like, that's it. And then I think he says a couple more things, and Nora is like, fuck this shit. And she pulls out a golf club and swings at Walter's face. And the golf club goes through his face. And when I say through, not like she killed him, but his face like morphs out like, bleh, and it like basically the golf club phases through his face, but his face is all like discombobulated and his jaw's like 3 feet this way. And as that's happening, I think she gets like some energy send off from him, and it like her wrist blows up or something like that.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what happens to her too. So, because like the panel before it, you can see like her arm is literally like twisting like way unnaturally.
Yeah.
And then the next panel shows like blood coming out of it, and so it seems like something pretty severe happens to her arm that you don't see after that.
Right. So then Walter goes on to say, hey, I know this is going to be like a hard transition for you, that your world is ending and that you're going to stay alive on this house, but it'll just take some time. And then he says the creepiest fucking thing in the entire book, for me personally.
Yeah.
He goes, I love you all, but I'm going to go now. I'll be back later.
Yeah.
And I read that and I was like, ugh. Like, I had to like, I was sitting here reading in my media room, and I know I have comics behind me, but I was like,
yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Walter's good. Behind you, watching you.
Yeah. And so the book ends with Walter leaving, and they're all stuck on the nice house on the lake.
Yeah. So the story itself is amazing. Like, it's really good. Mm-hmm. But then when you go back through, I feel like I haven't even picked up all of the different little hidden Easter eggs yet.
Right.
But like, it seems as if each of these books is going to be told from the perspective of each character. Mm-hmm. So the first symbol that we have here is the artist, and Ryan is the one who is narrating this issue. Also, I don't know if you can see it on the... Yeah, you can see that her symbol is yellow on this book.
Right.
So the next one, I don't remember what symbol that is, but whoever that is is probably going to be our narrator for the next issue. That is the pianist, Rick.
Okay.
So I imagine he will be the main one telling the story next time. And another thing is, like, throughout the whole series, or throughout all of the art, everybody's face, like, the art here is a little abstract, a little bit, not very, but a little bit. But everyone's face is pretty obvious, but Walter's face is never full. His glasses are always colored completely white. You can never see his eyes. And most of the time his face even is like halfway in shadow. And I don't know, I really enjoyed that.
Also, go for it. Sorry. No.
I was just gonna say, finally, art-wise, I feel like Bueno did a really good job of making you feel like this was going the, like, there's a murderer coming after us, Jason, or there's zombies outside, zombies in the forest, they're gonna come get us, or like crazy swamp lake people are gonna come get. Like, I just was not. This is not the direction I was expecting it to go in the absolute slightest bit.
And also Tinian's writing did that as well. Like, it was just so like, but at the same time not, because you get these first panels, and there are these like abstract shape statues that are littered in the world prior to us jumping into the actual story. So like when we, like you said, the Tarantino of it all, where we're at the back end. So, like, if you look at the first panel, she's sitting in front of one of these giant, like, I don't know what that is, right? It's like a statue symbol. And then when she continues to go into the forest, they're littered through the steps of where she's at, right? And, like...
in front of the house, right?
Yeah, and that had me intrigued right off the bat. I was like, wait, this is like some... I don't know, like you're in like a different ring of hell kind of thing. Like... Tinian did a great job, and then like you said, Bueno is just doing, his artwork is fantastic, and I was not expecting that at all. Like, I didn't know what to expect out of this book, to be absolutely honest with you. And I picked it up on a whim because like I went to go get our DC books on Friday, or at least our other half that we didn't get, and I was talking to RJ, and she pulled your books, and that was the first book she pulled, and I looked at it and I was like, be honest, RJ, should I pick this up? And she said, do you like Department of Truth? I was like, just give me it.
Just
give me the book. And I don't know why I doubted it, because it's Tiny Onion, and I love him. And I'm going to call him that for the rest of this show's existence.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's so good. I'm going to tell Jacob tomorrow when we go to the store, hey, put this in my, like, I will sub to this. Give me all of them. Yep. I just don't know. Like, we talked about it via text, and you were saying basically that Onion is basically your new, like, your favorite writer. Like,
there's no doubt.
Favorite writer. Doubt. And yeah, he's in my top 5 for sure. Like, this is my only concern. And I know that you didn't think I'd ever say it. My only concern with our pick of the week would be the only thing that I want to say is because there's such parallels with Something's Killing the Children and Department of Truth right now, in the sense of like making up your reality kind of thing. Okay. I just hope, my only thing is I hope that's not in this book at all. That's all. Like, I
can agree to that.
I just hope that's not part of this premise, because if that's the case, then is Tiny Onion like building a build your own reality multiverse, or universe, if you will, MCU. But no, this book is, like, I'm almost frustrated that it's my pick of the week, but I'm not, because this week was kind of meh when it came to like books this week, and so I was waiting for that one book to hit, and it literally was the last book I read this week.
That's funny.
So.
Well, there you go. That's it. I guess we gushed enough.
I wanted
Jaden to get back in here.
Yeah. All right, Jaden. We're switching to the next book. So
unmute. He's muted.
Oh, well,
how are they gonna hear us?
Okay, we'll move it. So that is again our.
That's the gas. Pick of the week.
I wish I could hear it.
Just watch it back. This is like the first video I'm going to put out once I cut up the episodes. So
yeah, I know.
All right, let's move on to some actual DC books. We're gonna kick it off with another Tiny Onion book, and that's Batman 109.
Oh yeah.
This was another good one. I mean, it wasn't as good as the Miracle Molly reveal, but it was still really, really good.
It's fun.
Yeah, I think we got a lot more action in this book, which I did like. Not that 108 we both really liked for the actual deposition. Like I think it moved the story really well. It was written really well, and this does the same thing. We get, again, every Batman issue opens up with Batman in a gimp suit, but now he's actually got some movement now in that gimp suit in the first page, or at least in his mind he does. He is, bro.
I know. I know.
So we get a little bit of, we always get a little bit of Scarecrow, a little bit of Batman gimp suit, and then we jump right into, instead of going straight to Batman, we cut to Harley Quinn and Ghostmaker. I will say this. I believe Ghostmaker is Tiny Onion.
Oh yeah?
I think so. I think
he's writing himself into the book.
I think he's writing himself into the book, and that is Tiny Onion. That is him. He is Ghostmaker.
Interesting. I mean I can see what you're saying there for sure.
Maybe
more like a superhero, like extravagant version of himself for sure.
Yeah. Just like the elegance. You wish you were Batman, but you're still, on point. You're quick. You got the money. You have the superior intelligence. You're a good fighter. You're savvy. And in this book, Ghostmaker basically says that he himself is much like Harley Quinn in the fact that he's a psychopath. He feels no empathy. He feels no fear. And so him and Harley have, they're both trying to feel each other out. They're trying to figure out where they are on the spectrum with Batman. And Harley's like, "You want to be Batman's sidekick?" And he's like, "Ha, no." And it more feels like Ghostmaker wants to be better than Batman, to be honest. Right. Like he wants to be, if anything, he wants to take the torch when Batman eventually leaves. And so they get a cool back and forth, but then Harley Quinn brings up Poison Ivy, and I forget her real name. They say it in this book. I don't remember. Starts with a D, I think. Anyway, what we come to find out is while she's with Ghostmaker, a former lover of Poison Ivy shows up, basically saying, "Harley Quinn, I need your help. Ivy is below Gotham, putting her roots into the city, and essentially has her finger on the trigger of like destroying Gotham if anybody fucks with her."
Right.
That basically what that is, and so she needs Quinn to go down there and talk to her because she's the only one that can really talk some sense into Ivy, which I thought was kind of cool. So we get a new story essentially that's going to be kind of pushing through Batman. I think a little sub story that Tiny Onion's been figuring out, and then we cut back to Batman, and Batman basically stops by the magistrate office and threatens the founder of it and says, "Hey, where's Scarecrow? I know you have a beat on this." Jaden says, "Isn't it Pamela?" I think you're right.
Yeah, she called her Pammy in this issue, so yeah, I believe that would be the right name.
Yeah. So Batman threatens the magistrate guy. His bodyguard, who is not Peacemaker, is like, "I got this," and he like rips his shirt off, and you see his arm, and Batman's like, "Pfft," and he literally does like a Street Fighter sidekick, just like switch it, and just takes him out like that. Like, who gives a shit about your metal arm? I'm fucking Batman. Which I thought was one of the coolest panels in this book. And then Peacemaker shows up, and I don't know. I don't think Batman realizes who it is because that's the cop that he saved in Arkham. And I didn't realize that he had such a, I think it was last issue where this guy is like, "Yeah, fuck Batman." And I'm like, he fucking saved your life. Like, I don't understand why. I mean, if you blame him for you losing a leg and an arm, like that's whoever set off the gas, in Arkham, not Batman.
Right.
But whatever.
Yeah. This issue did a really good job, I think, of giving us enough information to push two different storylines kind of going through this book that I found to be really interesting. I liked the Ghostmaker and Harley conversations. You're reading the Harley Quinn book right now, so I think you're getting a lot more Harley than I am. So I'm still kind of learning what this new Harley is. Joker War does a lot to set that up too.
I gotcha. It's not necessarily. The tone is definitely different in the Harley Quinn book than she is here in Batman. But she's in that same trying to get approval of Batman, but she's clearly not trying to be the sidekick. That's
okay. See,
obvious.
In this book, he straight up says that to her, right? Like, are you still trying to be Batman's sidekick or something? Which I think Jaden pointed out last week is are they still trying to kind of make her like Robin? But I like these two as the reluctant but also desirable sidekicks of Batman. Yeah. I don't think either one of them should obviously be crowned a Robin and throw a Robin suit on. They especially Poison Ivy. Harley Quinn, because she has such a strong identity on her own. It wouldn't make sense to put her in a Robin suit and give her the Robin name. But
no,
I don't know. I like this little thread. I think Bella, who's the one that shows up to tell Harley about Ivy, is introduced in that little snippet that we're waiting for that collected edition to come out, where Ghostmaker is introduced too. It's post Joker War, 101 through 105, and we started 106 or whatever. So, yep. I think we've got 1 or 2 more weeks before that hardcover comes out, and we can jump on that.
Yeah. So basically, after Batman threatens the head of the magistrate, Peacemaker shows up, basically tells Batman, I am the Terminator, don't fuck with me. And in the process between their fight, I forget the name of the head of the magistrate.
Saint. His last name is Saint, right?
Yeah, Saint. Saint basically says, don't worry about it, Batman. You're outdated. My magistrate program is going to take care of the crime in the city, but we just need that little flame, that little start, that little match to start everything. And he blows up City Hall. Batman's like, no, and you have to get a little dirty in order to accomplish your goal. At least Saint does. And so then the chaos ensues. Peacemaker and Batman fight, and I thought it was really cool. Batman's throwing everything at him that he can give him, and Peacemaker's just shoots a bullet at him. It's like ting. It's like a little BB. And so at one point, Batman turns the light off, cuts a hole in the floor, drops down into the darkness. Peacemaker's like, hey, I saw you went down the floor. I can see you because I can see in the dark. And Batman's like, great, I can see you too. And then they, the last panel is them freeze frame, Rocky 3 freeze frame. And so that's where the issues end. The issue ends, and then we get our nice Ghostmaker side story, which I absolutely love. And
it was really good, yeah.
I continue to still, like I said at the beginning, this is Ghostmaker is Tiny Onion. I'm telling you right now, it's him. This is who he wants to be. This is his superhero. When he was a kid, I bet he drew Ghostmaker and was like, this is my Batman. This is who I want. You know what I mean? I feel like that's, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love this character, and I really hope at some point we actually get a Ghostmaker book. It's his own book. Even if it's a mini, I want it. I want it now.
Yeah. This backup story was almost like a little origin story for one of the baddies.
Yeah,
I found it really interesting.
I'm not sure. I'm assuming that's an original baddie.
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
Either way, it's really cool because we get a page and a half, 2 pages of Ghostmaker dialogue, and then we cut into knowing a new, because the last issue we got another villain origin, and so we get another one here, and I just like the setup because they feel so fresh. They don't, oh, it's the Penguin. Like, no, this is a new bad guy, or at least in my assumption. I could be wrong. Again, we're new readers to DC, so maybe the bad guy, the first two baddies that have been introduced in his stories, maybe they exist, but in my mind, this is a fresh new character, and I'm about it. So overall, I'm still 100% on board with Batman right now. I think it's fantastic. And again, if my former roommate and best friend, not former best friend, just former roommate, ever watches this and finds out that I'm like, oh my God, Batman, he's going to kill me.
Yeah, he's definitely going to.
So anyway, that's Batman 109. Fantastic. I'm glad we kicked off the show with 2 Tiny Onion books. So, all right. After that, we've got Justice League 62. Overall, I like this book.
Yeah, it was okay.
I think for me, the best part of the book was Wonder Woman's mom, and I don't know how to say her name.
I don't either. I always said Hippolyta, but I heard someone say it different. I can't remember now.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say Wonder Woman's mom.
Yeah, I mean, she was pretty good. This book was filled with action. Yeah. I would almost say maybe slightly to a fault, because not a lot progresses in the story here. It's very slow going.
And I think that's why I like the fact that Wonder Woman's mom shows up, because it was like, okay, like you said, like there's so much action, and then at the end of the book, she's just like, ping, it's over. Like she literally comes in like a missile.
But then it's not, right? Because then we get our
correct.
Okay,
but
Jaden says that's what he calls her, Hippolyta.
Hippolyta. All right, so the book basically starts off with her roaming Earth, and she goes to the Hall of Justice and is going through the museum and the gift shop and all this jazz. And she has a talk with the Flash, and she's kind of like explaining to the Flash she just doesn't get this world, right? She's been on this island forever, and she's just not. She doesn't understand the concept of waking up every day in this world, basically. And
really quick,
go for it.
Because I'm a Ted Mosby, I had to find out what was the right way to say it, and it's Hippolyta. Hippolyta, not Hippolyta. Which I really want it to be now. That sounds way better, but it's Hippolyta.
Hippolyta. Okay, so she has a conversation with Flash, basically telling her she's just so confused in being in this world, and I don't quite understand if that's what. I'm assuming she can't go back to the island since she's on, the off the island in the world of man. So she's just having a hard time adjusting, and so in the middle of their conversation, Flash is like, "Yeah, no, I get it. I'm sorry. Oh shit." And he guess he was having. Wrong. Yeah, I did the math wrong, and she's like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "I sent all of our friends in a really bad spot. So I gotta go." And I think that was also one of my favorite, because his face is just like, "Oh shit." And so he realizes that he literally did bad math and sent them to the wrong, I guess the wrong area, the wrong dimension, or the wrong time in dimension. I don't know. It was still kind of vague.
Yeah, I was confused at what the problem exactly was.
Right. So
it very much seems like they're where they're supposed to be.
Exactly. Maybe it was like a certain time before. I don't know. Well, I'm sure we'll get more clarification in the next issue. So we cut to our heroes. They're getting their asses kicked by this brute dude. And Naomi's being taunted, and she's starting to fade out again out of her own reality. And then the book basically ends with, say her name again? Hippolyta and Flash show up. Hippolyta comes from the sky like a fucking missile and just lands on our brute dude, and she's like, "Enough!" And she's just, and I would assume, because like everybody else, her powers are through the roof, or her abilities are through the roof when she comes down. So she looks like a total badass when she shows up. And the Flash immediately finds everybody and goes, we need to get the hell out of here. Everybody's dying. Like, everybody that has powers is essentially dying right now. Like, we have to leave this reality. And before they can, a new baddie shows up who's even worse than Brutus. And I forget his name. It's like...
yeah. It is Zombato.
Classic cameo, first cameo appearance, but we got a new baddie who shows up at the end of that book, and that's how this book ends. You're right. I think it was a lot of action, almost too much action, but then, our new favorite, or at least my new favorite character showed up and just squashed it, but then immediately we're going to have more action. At least that's the assumption in 63. But overall, I liked it. But again, I'll do the same criticism. I just don't like how the villain is written, like how he talks. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I get it. He's like this like huge, overbearing, demonic-looking creature, and he's like, "Hey, bros, now I'm annoyed. What the hell?" Like
he sounds like a tween.
He sounds like a 13-year-old. I was gonna say, He just sounds like a teenager.
But he got killed. I'm assuming he died. So
I don't think so. I think he just got squished.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the book, was just her like coming down like fucking hellfire. Yeah. I'm still on it. I think it's fun. I like that we have Justice League in here. I think it's a nice fresh book to throw in to just kind of have some fun. That's how I look at this book. Is it's a good time. I don't take it overly serious. But overall, I enjoyed the issue.
I really enjoy the art in this book too. I know I've said it before, but I really like it.
It was really good. So that is Justice League 62. Next up, Green Lantern number 3. I have a love-hate relationship with this book, and I'm going to let you break it down.
I'm not going to do any better. So in classic Green Lantern fashion, when we have a million Green Lanterns and we can't cover them all, this book is split into 2. We have one book who I believe is the artist from the Green Lantern Future State books, covering what is going on with John Stewart and his group that voyaged past the realm of what the Guardians know. And the second half of the book has got my number 1 bae, Joe Mulligan, and her returning back from the far sector that she was sent to, and coming back to Oa fucked up. And I can honestly say that I tried twice to read the story, the John Stewart story, and I didn't get it. And the art was... I really don't like being mean to artists because I can't do it myself. But the art was so bad, it was so distracting in this part of the book that it made me very sad. John Stewart's head was like 5 times bigger than his body. He looked like a, what do you call those sports heads? Or it's a big giant head?
Fat head?
Fat head. He looked like one of these fat heads for like a few panels. And from what I can remember, they're like adrift on the ship, and some lady that can get into his brain is like changing his memories or something, and I don't really understand what's happening, and then he wakes up. I don't remember.
Before you keep
going,
do,
go for it.
No, before you go, keep going. So the John Stewart story has, I think, 20 pages, and the Joe story only has 11.
Oh wow, is it that much of a discrepancy?
Yes, like I was even looking, I was like, it just feels thin. So yeah, he gets stranded on a planet. There's this lady that's like reading his memory, like incepting his memory through her hair tentacle thing, which is really bleh. And that's, and he basically becomes like the new guardian for this planet, but he doesn't have a power ring. That's the gist of the story. And the reason why I can only give that short of a review for that part of the story is I'm with Nathan. The artwork is so distracting that I can't get into it. And I want to because I really like John Stewart, but it was not, again, I'm there with you. I don't like poo-pooing on artwork, but I couldn't get into it. It was hard to read because visually it was just not pleasing. And also, I'll say this, I'm more really concerned with the planet of Oa and like where the source of the problem is, right? So when we got into Joe Mulligan's story, I was like, this is where I want to be. This is
right.
And we get a lot of cool shit in her story.
Yes. Yep, I agree. So yeah, well, and I'm also so much more invested in Joe too. I mean, I like Jon Stewart. It has nothing to do with him, but
no, not at all.
I'm so invested in her being introduced to a part of main continuity that I'm biased. So she shows up and like everyone, obviously Oa is an absolute shit show, just totally messed up. And she basically like sends out a full-on distress signal to everyone across all sectors through the rings, and is basically like, I don't know if you can hear me, I don't know if you can get this, but like, if you are out and about and you can hear this, do not come back to Oa right now. Like, something real's going down. Like we've been attacked. We don't know what's going on. And then we see that what is the group? The United Planets? Is that what it is? United Planets
Coalition or something like that?
Yeah, they're the ones that are helping orchestrate the, aftermath, trying to help people and get people better and pick up the rubble and do all this stuff. And I've been very worried about how a writer's going to handle Joe besides N.K. Jemisin, because it's obviously her creation, and to be frank, I think a black woman writing a black woman probably has the best bet for having a solid voice. And I just was very leery about them getting Joe right. And what little snippet we do, I think we get a really good accurate to Jemisin's portrayal of Joe. Okay. She's very much like, I know you guys may not like it, but like, I'm in charge right now and you need to listen to what I'm saying. Like, this is where we're at. And like, she really takes charge of the situation and sort of just kind of beats around, like goes to one thing after the other, trying to figure out what's going on. At one point she meets up with Simon. Is that his name? Simon?
Yes, I believe so. Talking about the guy with the like mechanical arm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of meeting with him, and yeah, he's like, I'll do what I can, but I don't really have on my ring, so I don't know what I can do. And she's like, firepower is what I need. He's like, oh yeah, I got you there. And he like, his mechanical arm turns into a gun and makes a big explosion. And she's like, okay, yeah, you're next to me. And then she meets up with Teen Titan and Teen Lantern. And tries to have
meets up with Teen Titan. Whoa.
Teen Titans. Tries to have a little heart to heart with her, which doesn't go so well. Because once Teen Lantern sees that Simon is good, obviously they have a strong connection, so she just kind of flies away to go to her. And then Joe kind of makes like this one last little like call that just says like, I'm gonna find out who did this. Like, I can't trust anyone here. I don't know anyone here. But I'm gonna keep doing these daily reports. And so if you don't hear from me, I didn't make it. Yada yada. And you'll know what to do. And then the final panel is a shrouded Hal Jordan.
I thought she was actually
ready to go.
So she doesn't know Hal?
I don't think so. I don't think she knows any of them.
That's weird, because the way I read it, I felt like she specifically was like, this message is for Hal. Like the way I read it, she was like speaking to Hal, like, here's the deal, you need to stay in hiding, but if you don't hear from me, you know what to do.
Oh, maybe I totally missed it. Maybe
that's how I
read that wrong.
I could have read it wrong, but that's how I read it. She was specifically broadcasting to Hal that shit is going down, and I'm going to take care of it, but if you don't hear from me in the next 24 hours or whatever, you know what to do.
You're totally right. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I mean, she specifically says, if your ring does still work, you're going to want to come here right now. Don't do it. Not yet. If this was an attack from somebody, like they're working on a plan, like, let me try to figure it out before you come here. So yeah.
Gotcha.
She is broadcasting to Hal Jordan. So it looks like we are going to get some Hal Jordan in this as well, because after Rebirth, Rebirth, the whole line-wide Rebirth, We had Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns. That was one book. And then we had another book that was Green Lanterns. And it followed, I think, Jessica Cruz and Simon and some other people. And so now we only have one book. You know, I was curious how many of our, natural Earth sector lanterns we were going to get. It looks like most of them. We haven't seen Guy Gardner yet.
I think we will. But yeah, I'm...
we have to, right?
Yeah, the reveal at the end, I was like, ooh. Yeah. Let's just do, let me rephrase. Get a better artist on Jon Stewart's story, and let's keep on going this. Because I want to read Jon Stewart's story, but oversized heads and just wacky, like, I don't know, like people open their mouth and they're like, ah! Like their teeth are freaking, like it's just, it's unsettling and not in a good way. Like it's just like, and you know what? To talk about other art, like sometimes we'll get Marvel books where there's just like a random artist on it, and we're like, well, that came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, again, everyone's got to start somewhere, but Jesus, like that was not. It sucks because it pulled me out of the story, and I want to know what the hell's going on with Stewart. It's just like it's not going to work. That's how the Future State books were too. So.
We'll see.
All right. That is Green Lantern number 3. Next up, we got Suicide Squad number 4. This will be a quick one. This issue helped me figure out the previous Teen Titan issue, put everything in perspective. So in the previous issue in Teen Titans, Red X, I was like, why? He basically gets onto the Suicide Squad and helps them break in. And then as they're going in to grab Bolt, he switches sides and beats the shit out of the Suicide Squad and then gets captured. And I was like, why did he do that? Well, this is the answer. And so now I have a better appreciation for that issue, which I'm really glad, because I was like, fuck, man, I might actually drop Teen Titans after that. And this helped clean it up, essentially. So he did that to get captured on purpose, to find out what they were trying to do, who they were trying to go after. And his whole reason for getting captured is to fuck with the director of the Suicide Squad, to make everybody that is in the Suicide Squad realize that she doesn't have really much on you when she threatens like your family or whatever situation you're part of. The only thing she really has on you is that you have an explosive implant in the back of your head, right? Which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Right? But some of these other characters don't really give a shit about their own lives. They're like, fuck it, kill me, I don't care. But she holds other carrots and apples over people's heads, like, well, I've got your family on lock, or I've got your money situation on lock, or blah, 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 blah. And Red X goes in there and he basically booby traps. He's already got the place booby trapped, and he basically stages a prison break. And when he does that, he basically turns off everybody's chip in the facility to get to the director, and I forget her name.
Amanda Haller?
Yeah, Waller, yeah.
Waller.
Jaden says, did you have to go from Teen Titans to Suicide Squad to get it? Yes. So
yeah, it's the way that these issues have been jumping. I really would have expected for them to have made like an arc title with a part number or something, some way for you to follow a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I jumped on it because I wanted to get more DC, so I guess it worked out for me. But I think for a casual reader, that probably doesn't work out too well. Yeah. Anyway, he's basically trying to get the Suicide Squad to realize that she really doesn't hold that much power over you, because if you don't give a shit about your life, then don't worry about the the extracurricular activities that she says she has on you. You know what I mean? So he tries to get to her, and he gets really close. Like, he breaks out, he gets really close to like getting to her, and then he escapes because like everyone, the Patriot hates Red X. Like, he just hates the fact that he's more in charge than he is. But he messes with Waller and the Suicide Squad, and the other cool thing is he calls Talon's bluff. So Talon is one of the characters that they broke out of prison in issue 1, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he can only say who like Groot. Like he's so messed up and just zoned out that he can only say who. And so when Red X gets his one-on-one time with Talon, he's like, quit the facade. I know that it's a fucking game and you can talk regular, like figure it out. And he Talon goes, like, they're in a different room when this happens, and Talon goes, "Who are you, child?" And he goes, "There you are," like that. Like, and he goes, then he goes, "I'm a friend, but I gotta go right now." Like, he knows Talon, so we get a little bit of a clue. I don't know what that means because I don't know Talon. I don't know any of these characters,
Right.
But supposedly, this Red X knows Talon personally, so he dips out, finds the director, almost kills her, but then he escapes. So that's how this issue ends. But he basically spoils it for everybody. Like, listen, she doesn't have as much control over you as you think she does. And so this, again, the Suicide Squad put in perspective of Teen Titans, and it also made me like the character Red X even more. So really digging it. I'm going to continue to pick it up. And, you know, Jaden, I know you're not a big fan of there being like interconnectivity there in order to under certain things. I get that. I totally understand that. I think if I was only reading Suicide Squad, I'd definitely be like, what the hell's going on? You know, and obviously you would read the little editor's note of it saying like, well, you need to go read Teen Titans #4. Like,
Right.
But, you know, the fact that I was already reading these, that works in my favor. But for somebody that's just reading that specific title, I can see how that's very frustrating. So we just get a little bit of like who Red X is, and I don't know who that is. There might be other seasoned readers that understand that reference, but we're slowly building to that future state Teen Titans book where he's technically a hero, and so I'll be interested to see where it goes. But it was fun overall.
Nice.
So, next up, we've got Crime Syndicate #4. I'll be really quick on this one too. This is basically after the aftermath of the Syndicate and Lex Luthor and the metahumans taking on the invasion of Staros. And so in this book, the Syndicate is trying to figure out how they can form their own, you know, the Crime Syndicate, essentially. And everyone except for our Emerald Knight realizes that they need it to be surrounded, like the center of the team needs to be with the Emerald Knight because he is in league with an entire police force that is the Knights. And so this book is them trying to essentially convince him that he needs to be, you know, part of this group.
Yeah.
And then we have the other group, which is Lex Luthor and all the actual villains that on Earth 1 are actual villains. They're heroes on this planet, and they're being realized that they're metahumans. There's different people with different powers, and Sinestro is part of this group, and he basically convinces Luthor that they need to get John Stewart on their team, that if they can convince him to be on their team, that they can take out the Crime Syndicate. And so Sinestro fights Stewart and is like, listen, you need to realize that if you're on our side, that you will be on the winning side. And so he, Stewart takes that and leaves and tries and basically contemplates like where he's going to join. So you would assume he would join the Crime Syndicate, right? Well, the book ends with him joining the Legion of Justice. So John Stewart at this point is joining the Lex Luthor Legion of Justice, which comprises of Lex Luthor, Poison Ivy, Sinestro. There's two other people I don't know who they are, and Giganta. So the next issue is called "This Means War!" ! So I think we get the introduction of the Legion of Justice in that book. I'm excited for it. I've been really enjoying this book. I say it every time. I know some people aren't happy with it, but it's an enjoyable read for sure.
Mm-hmm. All that matters.
Yep. Next up, we've got The Swamp Thing, number 4. Into the Green. We are into the thick of it. If you watch TikTok.
Oh God, he really went there.
Yes, I did. But they're really in the thick of the green in this book. And I don't know, he's on the cover there. I don't know if that's a new villain or if that's an established character from another issue, but
it's the guy that's with his girlfriend. Yeah, that's an old school guy. I cannot remember his name because I had to look it up. But yeah, he's been around for a while. He's been around for quite a while.
Cool. Well, basically,
I can tell you right now that this book, I really enjoyed it. It was very cerebral, and I don't fucking understand it at all.
Yes.
I enjoyed every page of it. The art was great. The story was really cool. It was very like trippy. It was very like, where's this going? What's going on here? Then it ended, and I was like, okay, that was cool.
Cool.
I'd like some more.
Yeah. Basically, there's something wrong with the green. It's being infected with something, and our new Swamp Thing is trying to figure out what that is, and also trying to save his girlfriend and get her out of the green. That's this issue in a nutshell. And like you said, Ram did a great job. Like, the writing is superb. The dialogue is great. I followed everything, but at the end of it, again, I'm not a Swamp Thing reader, or at least a seasoned one, so I don't know what the fuck happened in the book. But the artwork in this was phenomenal.
I think we're really starting to get into, when Jacob first told us to pick this up, only the first issue was out, so obviously he couldn't know exactly where this book was going, but he was like, oh yeah, this is a new place to start. It's a whole new host, for the Swamp Thing, so it's going to be a brand new start. And I do want to say that that's not the case. I think
issue 4 anyway.
Not so far, not up to issue 4. Like, I feel like this is written like for people that enjoy Swamp Thing. Now, let me say, I don't know a damn thing about Swamp Thing, and I'm enjoying what we're reading. But like, so the previous avatar is here for a while and is talking to our main character. I can't remember his name. The other guy, the bad guy, his name is Jason Woodrow, but he's also known as the Floronic Man, Floro, or the Cedar, sometimes even Plant Master. He's been around since the 60s.
Gotcha.
Been around for a long time. But like, I don't know who he is, and so like, there's obviously a lot of like continuity implications with these people being here that we're missing. So I don't think that we're getting this 100%, but I think it just speaks to Rom V's strength that we're still telling a story that's really enjoyable for someone that has no idea what's going on.
For sure. No, I'll keep on reading it. I mean, it's a 10-part miniseries. I will say, like, when I get to this part of our pull list, I'm like, oh, hold on. Val, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the subscription. Dude, we got another one. Man, we're just, I got to change that animation. That's so, like, basic. Anyway, we appreciate that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, like, shit, I forgot where I was at. What was I saying?
When we get to this point in our
that's right. When I get to this point in my pull list, when I'm reading it, I initially have this, like, I don't know. And then I read it, and I'm like, wow, that's really good. Like, that was genuinely good, and I'm glad I read that. And I think that's what we were saying. That is due to the fact that we just are not seasoned Swamp Thing readers. We just don't know the character. For me personally, I get very like Immortal Hulk vibes, which I love. I like it. I like the weird, psychedelic, gross body horror. I think that's really cool. Yeah. And I think, the artwork is done really well. Like, this is the opposite of the Jon Stewart Green Lantern artwork. So, either way, I dig it.
Patrick said, I think he was a very old school Batman villain. That he thinks he should pick up Swamp Thing because he likes to look at the book. And yes, it is very good.
No, we would recommend it, and we are.
If you know anything about Swamp Thing, I'm sure you will enjoy it even more than we are.
Exactly. So that is Swamp Thing number 4. So that will do it, I believe, for our DC books. And now we're going to jump into our Marvel books, kicking it off.
It only took an hour and 10 minutes.
Yay! Well, we're going to kick it off with Heroes Reborn number 5 from Jason Aaron. Just
this was very uninspired.
Lackluster, gray, meh. And Patrick, I don't know if it was you or if it was somebody else that watches our channel that's like, I love Nightwing or whatever this guy's name is, Darkwing. I'm sorry. If it was you and this is your favorite character, I'm sorry, I don't get it. Nighthawk. It was. You know what? It's not against the character. I don't think
it has nothing to do with the character.
It has nothing to do with the character. It has everything to do with I don't care about. I've lost my motivation for this event outside of our last panel, our last page, or our last 2 or 3 pages.
Can we call this an event?
I don't know what it is.
With someone on Facebook today. This is just not an event. It's not.
No, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like
this is just a Avengers plotline that happened to have changed the title for a while.
Exactly, and I think we've said that from the beginning. Like, I'm kind of like, man, we're already like, can this be over? Can we?
I mean, it's weekly, so we don't have that much longer left.
Can we get back to the Avengers? Even though like I'm upset with that run too, but I will say this: I'd much rather read that than what's going on here. And like the artwork didn't save this book. If there's any redeeming quality of this book, it's the last pages that are telling like what's going on with our actual Avenger friends or whatever you want to call them. And I think the way Jason Aaron wrote this, it's like, I guess after reading Batman and then reading this, it just, like you said, it's a very uninspired version of this character.
And there was like an awkward combination of like Batman and Spider-Man, which I think are 2 characters that just absolutely do not go together. Make no, there's couldn't be more opposite.
No.
And I didn't get it. It missed me. I don't know.
And maybe it's because we're just not seasoned Squadron readers, but I mean, we just talked about a book in Swamp Thing where we're not seasoned Swamp Thing readers and we're engaged, and I'm just not engaged in this story. Like Hyperion's story, I don't really care about that character, but it was good. What was next after that?
The Flash wannabe. I don't remember.
The Flash one. I really enjoyed that one. You didn't, but I liked it a lot because I thought we built on some new versions of characters, and in this book, or even in the last issue with Commander or Dr. Spectrum, we created new versions of old characters. That was great. We didn't get any Black Skull in here. Like, he was in here for a little bit, but like we didn't get that fight that we got in the first issue where they were in Congress and all the Hydra agents were there. Like, it was like the aftermath of that, and it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't. I was expecting that, and we got like, I don't know what we got. I to be absolutely honest, I can't remember because that's how like meh the book was. It just wasn't. It didn't live up. It didn't live up to the previous issue, which again, in a standalone book, it was really good. Part of the event, not so much. And this one, it was like part of the event, not so much. And as a standalone book, I probably wouldn't have picked this up if it wasn't part of this event. I don't know. I just don't feel like Jason Aaron really. It didn't feel like he cared about the character. I don't know. It didn't work for me. I don't know why.
Nope.
And I feel like, again, what's his name? Nighthawk?
Yeah.
Nighthawk in the issue 1, when we got introduced to him and he was fighting the Venom Red Skull, that was really cool. I was like, ooh, I like that. And then when we realized that like each issue was going to be a breakdown from that issue, this almost felt like it had nothing to do with it. And in my opinion, I don't know. This was a letdown. This felt like this should have been issue 2, and this would have been the slump. Like, this would have been the slump issue. Like,
right.
Just wasn't. It wasn't fun, and it wasn't good. And I'm sad to say that. I really am. So that's as much time as we're gonna put on Heroes Reborn number 5. All right. Next up after that is an actual tie-in to the Heroes Reborn this week, and I actually really enjoyed this issue. So again, this is like a Batman-centric character, so Luke Cage is like the Commissioner Gordon in this book. And then we have Matt Murdock, who is... everyone calls him the Saint, but when we find out in the book, he's actually... his S on his chest is a serpent, and it's for Mephisto, because he is a disciple of the Church of Mephisto. And so in this book, Matt Murdock basically is, they're trying to catch the Saint. So Commissioner Cage is trying to catch the Saint. He doesn't know who he is, and it leads him to the Church of Mephisto, where Matt Murdock is a priest. He's the father of the church, and what he's doing is he's taking the confessions of these criminals and then later on going and beating the shit out of them. And so the Saint has 2 baseball bats and he goes and either hurts or kills these criminals who confess at the Church of Mephisto. That's this book in a nutshell. Also, the cops that Luke Cage is the commissioner over are trying to kill him, trying to get rid of him because he's a good cop and not a bad cop. And so there's that in this book. Overall, it was actually a lot more enjoyable than Heroes Reborn number 5. Like, this was like what that should have been, I think, because it introduced characters who we know who they are and then putting a fun twist on them. And I think that's the most enjoyable part. We didn't get that in Heroes Reborn number 5. We just got fluff. I don't know what we got. It just was not the same compared to the previous issues within that line. So this was a really enjoyable book. I actually like this tie-in. All right. Let's get into a Marvel book that we actually liked.
Marauders. You didn't like this book. You poo-pooed on this book all week. I don't want to hear one damn thing about you.
Hold on. I did like the book, but I wanted more. That's what I told you. I wanted more, and
trying to pretend.
No, I said I liked it, but I wanted the meat, and there's no meat in this book.
I don't agree.
All right, well, go ahead.
It's good. It's meaty. So this is the kickoff for Hellfire Gala, right? So we have our introduction to all the people that are coming. We get a nice panel with all of our Avengers. Well, not all of our Avengers, but some of our Avengers showing up. We get Fantastic Four. We get Iron Man, Doctor Doom, Patton Oswalt. A bunch of
the rappers,
Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels. I thought that was cool.
Couple of late night guys. I can't remember who.
Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien is one of them. Anyway, I thought that was really neat that there was a bunch of Easter eggs of people on here. Bryce, did we already cover Out of Body Basilisk? No, not yet. You have not missed that. Jaden said, I heard this book was like prom for X-Men. It kind of is. It kind of is. I will say now that if you are not a super fan of what's going on here, it might seem like it a little much to you. I love where the development with all these characters and stuff, and so I like the exaggerated feeling of this book. I think it's really fun. But I don't know. You still there?
Yeah, sorry. I was looking I thought you were going to continue talking. I was just going to sprinkle in because you told me that I couldn't talk. So
I didn't tell you that you couldn't talk.
You shit on the book.
That's all I said. So we get a lot of mean Professor X in this book too, which is not awesome. If you're not caught up with what's currently going on with Franklin, then maybe you don't want this spoiler. Here's your chance to leave. But Mr. Dan Slott has decided that Franklin Richards is not a mutant and never was a mutant. He just used his powers to make a fake X gene in his body. But it wasn't really there, so he's not really a mutant.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Everyone hates it. Whatever. But we get Professor X walks up while Kate, Pride, and Franklin are having a little heart-to-heart, and he's like, "Oh, it's always nice to see our human friends, especially you, Franklin." And I'm like, "You bastard! You absolute
fucking asshole,
bastard!" anyway, we get a lot of like the behind the scenes of the setup. You know, we see a lot of X-Force in the background being the security, monitoring, you know, everything that's going on. Obviously, we have a lot of you know, non-mutants here that are yeah, Jaden, not awesome. Also, Bryce, I'm curious about the change artists. Oh, I have not heard about artist changes on Spider-Man.
We're not technically reading it, so I don't know.
Yeah, because we are not reading ASM right now, so I'm not sure. I'm sorry about that.
I was.
Yeah.
And then I stopped.
Then we stopped.
Anyway.
So yes, so you know, we get a lot of like seeing Emma, you know, juggling pieces, moving the puzzle around, kind of getting everyone going. At one point, she kind of interrupts a little awkward conversation between Captain America and Doom, which I loved. Then we get a Shi'ar representative that showed up, and the Shi'ar are like my favorite, so I really enjoyed them showing up too. He tells her brother like, "Hey, I forgot what they were bringing us. Go help figure that shit out." That was weird. So the vast majority of this book is like setup. It's just set up to the main story, set up for the gala,
set up for a big announcement that like
set up
is gonna rock the X-Men universe and also the Marvel universe. Like that's why the Avengers are there. That's why the Fantastic Four are there. That's why we've got numerous delegates and ministers from other countries there. Like something they're about to announce something massive,
right?
Via the mutants, and we don't know what it is, and we don't know what it is in this book. Like we don't find out. We see, like Nate is saying, like we're building up, you know, the intro, the beginning of the party, and then we get to the back end of the book.
Yes. It's funny because we get this whole setup, and you know, you get these breakdown pages in all the X-Men books, and you know, they're like within the first page or two of the book. This is like almost at the very end. So this is really like the one. I think it's funny because it's like setup. Oh wait, here's your intro page, and then the Hellfire Gala is now over. Boom. Which I know has made Jim very upset. He's very, very upset about it because he wants all the story, all the answers right now in one page. Slam it in there. No building. No getting there. Just no.
See you guys later. Bye. Later. Bye. Later, guys.
Right
bye. Talk to you later. Bye.
What'd you say? What?
I'm kidding. I'm pretending to walk off.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bryce Steger, are we? Yes, we are from Funky Town. Collected Comics, the one off Altamir. Yes, all of this is true. That's awesome. If you are in the area. Yeah, Ron over at Collected is our guy. He helps us out a lot.
Yep, for sure.
Sponsor of the show. Matt says Green Lantern is like Mr. Sinister, only a good guy and completely uninterested. What?
What are you talking about, Maddie?
Matt is on drugs. Matt is on he is on heroin and cocaine.
So anyway, after all the introductions and you know, Emma Frost falling in love with Captain America, only to find out that Captain America realized, like, Emma Frost reminds her of his grandmother, like weird shit like that. We cut after our little like introduction pages. We cut to the immediate end of the gala, and you have all of these delegates, Avengers, everyone going like, "Holy shit! This is insane. This is massive. I can't believe it." So everybody's walking out, and you've got these, you know, prime ministers and delegates like calling their countries and saying like, "Sell the assets," and you're like, "What?" And then you've got Doctor Strange and Captain America both going like, "I need time to process this. It looks like you may have potentially solved one problem, but then opened a whole new can of worms. So we got to go figure this shit out." So that's how the issue ends, right? The issue ends with them saying like, "Well, that was one big firecracker," you know, like that's
yeah.
So everybody's leaving, and there's like a sense of like concern, but also relief. You know, there's some delegates that are like, "Oh, this is perfect," and then some are just besides themselves. So I'm intrigued And you're right. It's based off of my personal preference. Like for me, I'm really good at like when I go see movies, like figuring it out before the movie's over and be like, oh, cool, and like seeing that progression and be like, sweet, it went there. And in this one, I'm like, I have no fucking clue what happened.
That's
and
exactly how it's supposed to be.
I understand that, but I guess for me, again, I'm concerned. Like, will we get to Hellfire Gala planet-sized issue X-Men and be like, oh, that's what it was? Like, I really hope it's not that. I hope it's awesome. I really do. I fear that it'll be like a total just like drop, just like brick. You know, and that's because I'm such a big X-Men fan. I really want it to be, fucking awesome. So I hope that this reaction at the end of the book is real.
So I just want to read this interaction really quick between Captain America and Cyclops because they have a lot of history together. A lot of back and forth, being on the same team and then being against each other, and just always had this little head-to-head. They've got an understanding, right? And I think this sort of sums up exactly what we're going to get into. First of all, Cap says to Cyclops, he said, "Did you know about this when we met just a few days ago?" And Cyclops said, "Well, not for certain, but I had an inkling." That says so much in just one sentence that even Cyclops, who is literally like the head of security, head of, everything, almost a part, he gave up his spot on the council, still didn't even know 100% what was going to happen here. I find that really interesting. And then Cap says, "Well, you solved one problem, but I'm worried you might have made an even bigger mess. I hope you know what you're doing. I'll see you out there." And I was like, fuck, what is this? Like, if Captain America is just like, I don't know, bud, you might have fucked up here. I don't know. It just makes me really excited for it.
I don't know if you've watched Comic Book Herald's videos, but he's got two theories. One is Emma and the mutants have revealed to Earth that they actually cannot die, that resurrection protocol exists.
Okay.
And then he said the other theory might be that they are exclusively offering resurrection to humans, but at a price, like at a massive price.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That would be big.
So those are his two theories of to what is going on. Like, those are the two announcements he believes it is. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I have to imagine it's the former, that they're revealing that they can't die and that they're done with Earth and they're going to go conquer space now that they can't die, and they're going to go put a base on Mars and go into Shi'ar space and put a base out there. Like, I think that makes more sense, but who knows? I mean, it could be the latter, and that they're offering resurrection to humans now. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But
yes.
Also, you reading that, I didn't really read that. I guess I just didn't read that Cyclops Captain America close enough. That when you read that, it popped up in my mind. I don't know if it was Pepe or somebody who's doing the X-Men book right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
Somebody shared. I don't know if it was Pepe or not.
Is it Lionel Francis Yu? I think he is.
Maybe. Somebody shared a panel or two of Cap and Cyclops like shaking hands outside of like a mansion or something like that. And I'm not saying I'm worried about this, but I'm wondering if our next X-Men issue is going to be the night before the gala issue. Because I remember seeing those panels and we haven't seen that yet, and I figured we'd see that here. Captain America meeting up with Cyclops. So, because he's like on a motorcycle. So I'm wondering if, this week we're getting X-Men. So we'll see if that's the case.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing that. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a concerning thing, but X-Men may be
it's interesting though.
Yeah, it might be a callback to prior to the gala where Cyclops and Captain America actually have this interaction in an actual comic book.
Gotcha.
So we'll have to wait and see. And then the last part is True Believers past Hellfire Gala introducing us to a character that will be in Marauders coming very soon. Which I think, like you said, you really like the fact that we get that in here, and we didn't get necessarily an oversized issue price jump. You know, we just got like an extra $1 added to it. So I thought was cool. You're right. Like, I liked it, but I was frustrated with it, and that's just the way my brain works. So I just want to know. I want to know.
Yes, I know. Before we move on, just wanted to answer Bryce. Yes, I'm glad to see that you shop there all the time. If you see us, make sure to say hey.
Yep.
And new to comics, you came to the right channel because we are also new to comics.
We've only been at it for about a year and a half.
Yeah, we started our first pull lists back in like December 2019, like right before the pandemic hit. So, and here's Eric. What's up, Eric?
Oh my gosh, we got like a collected groupie over here. We're all here.
Yep. So yeah, stick around because we will give you our interpretations through the eyes of new readers as well. We are not veteran, experienced readers that have been doing comics for 20 plus years. So there are some things we're going to get because we've read past issues, but there are a lot of things like Swamp Thing that we're just not going to understand at all.
What's going on
but we
there?
still like it.
Yep. So that is Marauders 21. So next up, we get X-Force number 20. This is a fun issue. You know, this is more of a lighthearted issue. It's not a necessary read for the gala. It's a definite necessary read if you're reading X-Force. But in a nutshell, we've got our X-Force group doing security. We've got Beast being Beast and doing some shady ass shit. He's infecting prime ministers and delegates with his little makeshift
plant symbiote things.
Yeah.
So those are the natural delegates for Terra Verde.
Okay.
And so but people would be like, why the hell did this country who openly supported Krakoa, why did they not show up to the Hellfire Gala? So obviously he had to find a way to get them to show up. So
he made plant zombies.
made plant zombies.
And so he's planting micro plant spy organisms on other delegates to spy on other countries. And it's working. Like he's planting them left and right, left and right, left and right. And Emma sees it. She sees it in the corner of her eye. And she immediately goes to Sage, right? Sage? Who is monitoring everything and is like, cut it the fuck out. Don't fuck this up.
This shit.
Yeah, do not fuck this up. And so she basically tells Sage to terminate this thing that they're doing. And she's like, I will bring this up to the council. This is not good. So it looks like Beast is actually going to answer for his just horrific crimes that have been going on for the past 19 issues of X-Force.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I think we're going to get that. I think that's what the trial really should have been, not Magneto, but we will get there when we get to Planet Size. And then we get a fun little cameo from Deadpool. Deadpool wants to party. And Wolverine and Domino take care of him. And I thought that was really fun.
Yes, pretty quickly.
Yeah. That was our action in this book. And then
Eric said that was his favorite part. It was the surprise cameo as well.
Oh god, it was so cool. Like I hate that Deadpool has been excluded from Krakoa, and I know that they're like, well, you're not technically a mutant, and also you're a risk. Like, shut up. Like, come on. You
still don't know what the actual like in continuity explanation is for all that.
Because he got turned into a mutant? I don't know. I don't know what.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Bryce says, sorry for interrupting again, but what the hell can or do I start an X-Men? I've always wanted to pull it, but it's so far in. Can I just jump right in?
So I wouldn't jump in exactly where we're at right now, but a really good starting point for modern reading that you don't need to know really anything in the past is to start at House of X Powers of 10. Totally. So it's when Hickman's era starts. There's a hardcover or a trade paperback version, all 12 issues, 6 issues of House of X, 6 issues Powers of 10. It's going to be much cheaper to find that in a trade or a collection than it is single issues, unless single issues are a big deal for you, because it's a little expensive. But yes, do that. And then, if you enjoy that, there are some really awesome trade paperbacks called The Dawn of X, and there's a bunch of volumes. And it literally collects all of the X-Men books, X-Men, X-Force, Wolverine, all of them, in the proper order that they were released in. So you don't have to go looking on a website to try to figure out what the hell came out when.
Right.
And you can just buy those trades one at a time and read and get caught up to where we're at now. Mm-hmm. That is definitely, and House and Powers is still to this day, I think, some of the best of Hickman's era is like right there at the very beginning. So if you, I think that's a good gauge, right? So if you read House and Powers, and you go, this isn't my thing, then I would say stop there. But I'm gonna assume that you're not gonna do that. I'm sure you'll read that and be like, hell yeah, like let's keep going.
Bryce, if you have any, like if you have any knowledge of the X-Men, just like base level, like cartoons or whatever, and you just like, your classic characters, House and Powers will blow you away. It is so good. It's so good.
Definitely.
Just because it's so game changing and it's just fun. It's just a fresh, new idea for the X-Men. It's so much fun.
Also, I just want to say you do not need to apologize for interrupting. That's why we do this as a live show, so that we can interact and answer your questions, even if they are not directly tied to the book we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So keep asking.
Yeah, for sure. So next up on this, so the X-Force, the issue ends with Emma putting a foot down on Beast's little espionage little thing going on here. But one of the Terra Verde ambassadors, it doesn't stop. He like, his eye's like, I got something in my eye, which is the thing. And so he goes and splashes water on his eye, and he starts turning into a giant plant monster.
Yes.
And so that's how the issue ends. So we're going to get something crazy is about to happen.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that, if that interrupts directly on the gala or not. Or if, I'm sure Emma finds a way to put it under the lid just long enough for everyone to get off the island, and then they have to deal with it,
Yeah. If it were not for the Nice House on the Lake, this would have been my pick of the week.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes. But
I see. I think Marauders was definitely my pick number 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was my pick of the week until I read Nice House on the Lake. So if you are just coming in or tuning in live, watch our, rewatch the episode at the beginning, because we talk about our pick of the week, and that was it. And so good. So anyway, X-Force 20. Looking forward to 21. Next up, we continue our X book into the gala. Hellions, number 12. This is just a good time. This is just a good time.
I'm going to call it now. This is a random call, but Zeb Wells, funniest Marvel writer right now.
Yeah,
by far.
No, this book has been so fun, so much fun. Just a silly goose time. It's just been fun. In this issue, we've got Marauders that have been formally invited by Mr. Sinister, and then we have members of the Hellions that are not invited to the gala, and they show up anyway.
They're told you cannot come.
And they crash the party anyway. That's this issue in a nutshell. We also get, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's this issue where we get Sinister in exile.
Yes.
They have some words.
Yeah, their tension that we have seen from the very beginning, them sitting next to each other on the council, it seems like that might be coming to a head pretty soon.
Yeah, and we saw that in the Inferno artwork. Like, they're both yelling at each other. I just noticed that if you look back at it, Sinister's not yelling at Storm. He's yelling at Exile. Or Exile's not yelling at Storm. Exile is yelling at Sinister from across the piece of art. So there's definitely something brewing there. But yeah, in this book we get just a good time. We've got Havoc, who is just still head over heels for Madeline Pryor and trying to get a decent answer as to why she wasn't resurrected, even though like other clones have been resurrected on the island. There's that. And we've got Psylocke and Grey Crow, right? Grey Crow? Mm-hmm. There's something going on there. A little bit of budding interest going on there.
Yeah.
But essentially, this book is they're at the gala formally, and the others are like, "Fuck that, we're going," and they crash the after party essentially in this issue.
Yes,
that's this issue in a nutshell.
What is not Orphan Maker, but
Nanny?
Wait, Nanny, yeah. Nanny literally is pouring drinks in her head, like through the top portal opening.
Getting drunk.
In her head, getting drunk that way. It's so funny.
And then when she has to throw up, she's like, "Get this thing off of me now, I gotta throw up."
Yeah.
This issue is just fun. It's a lot of fun. It's funny. Hellions has been my surprise top Marvel Comics for this year, and I know, Nate, we've been talking about doing a halfway through the year top picks of the year, and this is definitely going to be on my list of like surprises, like just a surprise. I wasn't expecting it for being that good.
Yep, I agree. One thing too that I think is a really interesting that you pointed out to me as a setup for the future. In this book, we see Havoc. It's in here, right? That Havoc's sort of starting to ask around about Madeline Pryor. Like, so about resurrecting Madeline Pryor, and he does it a couple of times. And I really think if you have seen the announcement, I'm sure everyone that is interested has, that Hickman's next book is Inferno, 4-issue miniseries. And so obviously Madeline Pryor, with the first rendition of Inferno being a big thing, she was also involved in the first arc here in Hellions. So, there could be something at play there. I really think that Zeb Wells, obviously he knows what's going on, and all of these X-writers are so closely intertwined. But I think he's just Salt Bae in this a little bit, and just kind of getting the readers primed, even if it's in their subconscious, to know what's going on here.
Oh, for sure. And Ron brought that up at the store. He was just like, Madeline Pryor, Inferno, maybe. He's like, hey, I'm not going to put it out of the realm of possibility with Hickman. Like, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, he literally will do whatever he wants.
Well, and I think it's really interesting too, because we haven't heard it from her in a couple of issues, but old Honey Badger, I can't remember her real name, but
I can't remember either.
Yeah, Wolverine 3, Wolverine Light, or Wolverine 4, I guess. Sure, she's a clone of Laura Kinney, and so she's like, so what are we doing about clones? Like, Madeline's dead and y'all didn't bring her back, so what about me? And I really think that challenge is, like, obviously you look at Madeline Pryor, like, oh yeah, clones, no. But then you look at Honey Badger and you're like, oh, we like her, and so
yeah,
I don't know what to do. Anyway,
yeah,
it's interesting how this world is so tied together.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be our only Hellions Gala issue, because the next issue,
I don't think we get any repeats, do we?
I don't think so. I'm sorry. I'm making that assumption because at the end of the book, the clone Sinister who went into Otherworld in Ten of Swords is coming back, and he wants the throne. He wants to be the head of the Hellions. So, oops, it is. It's about to get real. Gramps and Gigi dropping in. What up, Dad? Thanks for being in the stream. I appreciate it. I think she's probably the least interesting clone. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not.
Wait, are we talking about Honey Badger or
I think
Madeline Pryor?
I think Honey Badger.
Because I don't know anything about her outside of this run currently. Also, wanted to hit the comments before that. Bryce said, check it out. Oh yeah, Red Room. Red Room it was very intense. Yes, Gabby, thank you, Jaden. Red Room is very intense. Definitely not for all people. Not even for me, and I can usually handle extreme stuff.
You were telling you were like describing it to me, and I was like, hell no.
Yeah, I'll bring it to work Monday so you can see it.
No, thank you.
Also, Bryce, once we're done and you want to hear us talk about Nice House on the Lake, that was the very first book we covered. It is both of our pick of the week. We absolutely love that book. Fantastic.
I was about to hit the button, but I don't want there to be any confusion.
Yeah, no confusion here. And then Eric said The Hellions was his favorite book this week by a mile. Which it's good. It's really good.
No, really good. I highly recommend picking up Hellions.
Yeah, see, this is another case too, where Jaden says that Gabby's least interesting clone, and I'm gonna have to take his word for it because one, Jaden's smarter than us when it comes to comics, and two, I don't know anything about her besides what little we've gotten in like the New Mutant stuff.
All right,
that's it. That's all I got. Let's move on.
All right, so next up we've got the first annual.
Sorry.
What?
Jaden said he said, speaking of Red Room, Crossed is definitely more intense than Red Room. I don't think I can do it then. I don't think I can do it. I looked at the issues, just looked at the covers, and was like, maybe it's borderline, maybe. But if you're saying it's even more than Red Room, I don't know if I can handle that.
All right, so we've got Iron Man versus Quantum, the first summer annual Infinite Destinies. I don't know what's going on.
I don't. What? Yes, you do. It's exactly what it is.
But I don't know who Quantum is. I don't know who this new AI is.
Oh, you're not supposed to know.
See, well, okay. Go for it.
So they're very briefly mentioned or brought up in a Miles Morales, the current Miles Morales run.
Well, that makes sense because I'm not reading that book.
Let me put it on record from our Wednesday video, I believe. I mistakenly said Rom V is writing Miles Morales. That is not correct. My bad.
Redacted.
So let me just... Saladin Ahmed is writing that book. I know my writers. Excuse me. Also, you don't really need to know who Quantum or this AI are that much.
Okay.
That's not the point, I don't think. I think really like... those characters being involved is just because Quantum has the space stone?
Space stone, yes.
And so that's why.
Okay. Well, cool.
And it's sort of like a little extra dangler to like make you say, hey, maybe I want to go read Miles Morales or something.
Oh, I see.
I really don't think it's necessary to understand what the plot of where Infinite Destinies is going.
Yeah, I guess so. When I saw Iron Man, I was like, all right, so we're gonna get some kind of connectivity to our actual Iron Man book.
Nope.
No.
Okay, so have you read any of those 90s?
No.
Okay, so traditionally, annuals for books was an opportunity for a different writer to write a book because back in the 80s and stuff, writers were on their books forever, and so we weren't changing writers every 10 or 12 issues like we are now. Okay. And so it was the opportunity for them to write a non sequitur story, or just like a story that's totally not out of continuity, but doesn't have anything to do with the current arc. And so that's what the vast majority of annuals were. And so whenever I saw that they were going to be doing this serialized story over the course of annuals, I was like, okay, yeah, we're going 80-90 style. Like this is not going to have anything to do with our current arcs, right? Because what does Jed McKay know about what Christopher Cantwell is writing in his current Iron Man arc, right?
Right.
And so it would be strange to mix that up.
Well, I'll say this.
You didn't know that going into it, so I can understand the confusion for sure.
Yeah, there's a little bit of confusion. I will say I did like the action. Like this felt like classic Iron Man action. Whereas like our current Iron Man book is not. It's a lot different, which is not a bad thing. But this felt like 90s Iron Man, just like that kind of thing. It just felt like Iron Man had, I don't know, it felt like classic Iron Man, which I did like, right? But overall, I'm just a little confused with the story. I mean, you're right. We're just trying to figure out where the stone is. Quantum has a space stone. Done deal. I thought the Infinite Fury thing was cool, like him like starting this new arc and figuring out there's something wrong with everything. It's very vague with what's going on and what's wrong, which I thought was cool.
So I was confused by who this Fury is. Like so it's Fury's son.
Yes.
But I thought this Fury I thought that the black son of the white Nick Fury was the Ultimate Universe Nick Fury, right?
I don't know.
But that he's not around anymore. He didn't make it through Secret Wars, right?
Sure. I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Whatever the context is for him being here, I'm not sure. What it is. I'm interested totally, but I just am not sure.
And I think that's why I'm so kind of like, what's going on in this? It's not a bad thing. I want to know more. because I just
you want the payoff right now.
No. I don't want payoff. No. I don't want payoff because I don't know where we are. I don't know. Like I felt like I just got like your a piece of paint and you just got splatted on the wall and you don't know which way is up or down. Like I just the setup for me is just a little confusing in this book. But he, Batman, Iron Man ends up finding Quantum, and I don't think he defeats him, but he puts a pounding on him. I don't know.
He kind of. I saw it a little bit differently.
Okay.
But so I really enjoyed the use that Quantum had for using the Space Stone. Like I just thought it was really unique, where he was like punching through the air, but at the last second he space shifted his hand, because he was far away from Iron Man, but he space shifted his hand right there and hit him and stuff. And the only way Iron Man was able to defeat him, which is a classic Iron Man way, is to just randomly throw out a projectile. He's like, I have quantum entanglement impairment, so now you can't use the Space Stone. And it's like, what? Like, that's some Deus Ex Machina bullshit if I've ever seen it. But I was like, whatever. I mean, I don't know how you're going to defeat him anyway, so there it is. Yeah. But yeah, I thought the issue was fun. Like, I just for reading it, and I also like the little mole men dudes in the beginning. I think they're a hoot, so I enjoyed it overall.
Yeah. No, I thought it was good. I don't know. It was good, but I'm just confused. So I just, we'll have to see where it goes.
See, this is a great example. I've always been frustrated sometimes, not always, but sometimes I get frustrated because I'm not the kind of guy that, like, when I watch movies, I like figure it out as I'm going. I don't try to, because I think that kind of ruins the story. But like, I also don't think I could do it even if I tried. Mm-hmm. This is when a situation like that gets you bothered and makes me super excited, because when I read this issue, I was like, I don't fucking know where we're going, and I don't need to. I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay being, what'd you say, splattered paint on the wall and not knowing what's up or down. Like, I'm totally okay with being there, but you're over there wiggling in your seat because you don't like it.
It's not that I don't like it. I just don't get it. That's just all. I'm not saying
you can't get it. There's nothing for you to get.
Okay, well, now that I know that, I fucking loved it. Okay, there. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm gonna continue to pick up the annuals, so because I want to see where we're going, because it's gonna tie directly into our next book, which is Black Cat number 7.
Hold on, before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick said in 616, I think World War II Fury is some sort of cosmic being, and his son was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't remember. Classic cop out. Iron Man suits are like Batman utility belts. Yes,
yep,
that is very true. Yeah, so like the Nick Fury in 616, like normal white Nick Fury that we know about, is what he was turned into the Watcher, but then Dan Slott just recently visited that, and like the Watcher like it comes out of his eyeball and takes over again, is like be gone or go away or whatever. So I thought that was what we were going to get here, was like, oh shit, we're bringing that Nick Fury back into it, but it's not. So I'm interested where we're going.
I don't know. So Black Cat number 7, the final or the conclusion to the Gilded City. Basically what we get here is classic Black Cat double crossing the double crosser. So she was gifted immortality, so was Fox, by giving the island of Manhattan to this ancient spirit of the Steelers, or I don't know what it's called. So Felicia has to figure out a way to undo this, because it's clearly not what she wants. And so what she does is she finds Fox, who is now younger, and basically tells him it's over, that she's figured out a way to reverse her deal, or his deal. And he's like, there's no way you can do that. So whatever, let's talk. I'm intrigued. Tell me more. And so she basically says, well, I got into the vault. And Fox is like, what? You got into the vault? How did you get out of the vault? No one can get out of the vault. She goes, well, I'll tell you. So she went into the vault and scoured the vault and found the deed to Manhattan. And she got a hold of the spirit and said, listen, I have a deal for you. If I can make it so that Fox is going to double cross you, where he'll get Manhattan back, and still keep his immortality, and he'll cheap you out of your deal. And the spirit goes, that's impossible. She goes, I bet you my life that if that doesn't happen, then you can keep me here. And the spirit's like, okay, so what do you want in return? She's like, I want you to get me out of here. If you can get me out of the vault, I can make all this come true. The spirit's like, fine, deal. You're gonna fail, but fine. So she leaves, and then we cut to her back with Fox, and she goes, listen, your deal is done. You're no longer immortal. You're going to be sucked into the vault. And he's like, how? And he goes, because I found the deed, and I planted a bomb on it. And she, at that point, detonates the deed to Manhattan. It blows up. That triggers the spirit to show up and go, Fox, you've denied me this deal. Our deal is null and void. You are no longer immortal. And so she keeps her promise, and she made it look like Fox stole the deed back. And so Fox loses his immortality. He gets sucked into the vault, and Felicia cries. She's upset because she was in love with Fox. That was her mentor. And that's how this issue ends. That issue ends with her undoing what Fox did. I thought it was really cool. And Felicia goes to fight on another day. So that's this issue in a nutshell. I'm going to be quick on some of these because I want to get to Star Wars. But it was really good. I'm really digging Black Cat. I'm really digging these Pepe Larraz covers. So I can't wait to see what happens next. All right. Next up, we've got Immortal Hulk 47. I'll be quick on this too. We continue to see another fight between the Avengers and the Hulk. The interesting thing about this book is it's spoken, or in the viewer or the perception of She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. She is telling the story, and she's basically rehashing out the fact that Hulks are just chaos. They're chaos wherever they go. And so she's trying to figure out a way to get Bruce or the Hulk to calm down and also be a part of the Avengers and be a part of the solution. And she can't figure it out. She can't figure out how to walk the line, to be on both sides. And so there's just a lot of chaos and a lot of fighting. And the issue ends with her basically picking the side of the Hulks. So she jumps on her cousin's side and supports him. So the Avengers are like, yo, what the fuck? And so at the last minute, her and Banner and I think the Red Harpy and Alpha or Gamma Flight teleport out of the fight. Like, there's a big fight that happens. Don't get me wrong. I'm skipping over a lot of it, but the issue ends with them being teleported and they got away, basically. So I don't know where we're going after this. I mean, we've got to conclude it. We got 40, we got 3 issues left. So this issue felt kind of fillery, to be honest. I mean, it was a good issue. There was a lot of dialogue that happened. I like that we're getting into the brain of She-Hulk. But it just, like, where are we going? Where's the end? I don't know. Like, what's going on with the leader, and what's going on with Joe Fixit and the Green Door and the place below? Like, none of that was answered in this issue. So I'm really interested to see how Ewing's going to wrap it up in 3 more issues. So that's this issue in a nutshell. After that, we have Nonstop Spider-Man number 3. I'm going to be really quick on this. Really enjoy it. Spidey Sense is still the best character in this book because he actually talks.
This is where it like yells out. I was like, "Hey, watch out!
Like, watch out! Look behind you. You're late. Too quick. You're gonna die." Like that shit.
That's cool.
In the previous issue, we had these 2 luchadors who were taking the drug that makes people smarter. So they took it, and now they're really good at fighting, and they're really smart. Well, they come to find out that the drugs that they're taking are taking the intellect or the smartness. I don't think that's the right way to say it, but they're taking the brain power of all these people that are taking it, and they're putting it into the drug. And the main people that are taking the drug are dreamers, exchange students, foreign exchange students, basically foreigners into the country. So they find that out, and they're like, oh shit, like, that's no bueno. Like, literally, they're like, that's not good. And so when they realize that this drug is made off the backs of immigrants and dreamers and all these people, they're like, well, shit, we got to figure this out. And before they can like basically turn the leaf and become good, or when they realize it, this is where it gets weird. Their brains literally expand out of their heads.
Huh?
Exactly. They like one of the last panels, they're like getting ready to help Spider-Man, and like one of the luchadors is like, and then the other one's like, oh god. And the next page is literally a alleyway filled with their brains. They don't die. Their brains, they just got so smart that their brains grew and blew out of their heads.
Okay.
That's how this. Well, that's how the issue ends. But then we find out that Zemo is behind all of this.
Baron Zemo.
So Baron Zemo and Spider-Man will be
Baron
fighting.
Helmet Zemo.
Yes, they will be fighting very soon. So that's how. It's fun. It's fast paced. I like it, and I actually enjoy it more than Nick Spencer's run. So Bryce, if you're watching this and you're into that, I'm sorry I had to jump off that book, but I'm really enjoying Nonstop Spider-Man, and I didn't think I'd say that. So that's Nonstop Spider-Man number 3. All right, let's get into it. Star Wars: War of the Bounty Hunters, issue 1. I'm gonna let you take control of this. I have to take a baby break, so I'll be right back.
Don't think about what he's doing, guys.
Shut up.
So this issue was great, absolutely great. If you are keeping up with War of the Bounty Hunters, or like we've been doing prelude issues. Basically, we've had 5 prelude issues, but this is where we're really getting into the meat of it. Also, by the way, Charles Soule tweeted out that you will definitely get a nice big overall picture if you're reading all the tie-ins, but like if that's not your deal, you can still read the 5-issue event and not have to worry about it. And I think that's really cool that they have made sure to do that, even though they're going to get suckers like me that are Star Wars fans that have to have it all. This issue starts out with a very mysterious group that has stolen Han Solo. So in the prelude issue, we find out that Han Solo, who is frozen in carbonite, has gotten stolen from Boba Fett, and we don't know who it is that stole him. And at first, we still don't know who it is. The ships are really strange shapes, and the main person is like shrouded, has like a big shroud on, or you can't see her face at all. But we will find out who it is. And then we cut to Boba Fett, who is, talking with the bartender, and it's like, yeah, like I got to figure out who stole this from me. And these people behind him get like a page essentially, or like a message that's like, oh, there's this huge, massive bounty out for Boba Fett, and the guy's like, oh shit, he's right there. And they try to sneak up on him and shoot him, and Boba Fett sees them from a little reflection. It's just like, pow. It literally just continues on like it was absolutely nothing. The bartender's like, what is that about? And he's like, money, reputation, revenge, could be anything. I don't know. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. And then he goes out to his ship. He's going to leave, and he gets sidetracked by two villains that we were introduced to in the Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue. So this is Zuckuss and 4LOM. They are I really like them from the Bounty Hunters book. So basically, just to give you a quick understanding, Zuckuss is an alien that has like forethought perception. Like people are like, oh, you can tell the future, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. It's very much like Destiny in X-Men. So if you understand that, he can kind of predict what's going to happen, and then he has a robot who's known as they spell out 4LOM, but it's just 4-LOM, and they try to get the jump on Boba Fett, but nobody really gets the jump on Boba Fett, and Zuckuss gets thrown over the side, and apparently falls to his death. Now these guys are too cool to be just kill off like this really randomly. But then you can see on the cover too, he proceeds to decapitate 4LOM and bring his head on board his ship to try to get some information. And he basically uses that information to find out that yeah, there's not a bounty on Han Solo that's still out there. The bounty is on him. And he's like, yeah, but who did this? And he sees that it's Jabba. And you're like, oh shit.
No shit.
So even Jabba has gone against Boba Fett. And Boba Fett very quickly goes to Tatooine to confront Jabba and is like, yo, what the fuck? Except Jabba is not there. Jabba has gone off to a special meeting with all of the other Hutts. Which, by the way, did you catch the super ripped
swole
Hutt? He was
Hutt?
fucking swole, like
yeah,
20 pack. I was like
he's like a fat piece of shit on the back end, but then he's like, I will bump you up.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I was not expecting like an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No,
Hutt.
And like when he talks, like his arms are always like this, like he can't.
Yeah, he's just like,
I can't.
I'm a Hutt. Yeah.
Like Hutts don't have necks already, and he's like, oh.
Yes, I thought it was really funny.
Or crazy, yeah.
What am I?
Are you hearing something?
Yeah, sorry. My dogs are going crazy, but my wife's getting it. So, basically, we find out that this other renegade group has contacted the Hutts and said, "Listen, you know, we've been gone for a while, but we're back in town, and we're ready to start, you know, trade relations and stuff like that with, you know, we're ready to be back into the bounty hunter scene or like the whole thing. And as a gift, you know, we'll give you Han Solo, who you've been looking for free, just as a sign of our goodwill." And the Hutts are trying to figure out if you know, if they want to work with them or not, because you know it's very much like shrouded in mystery who they're talking about. They're like, oh well, yeah, like, you know, when the last time they were here, there was this one guy and he was really strong, and you know, if he's gone, that means they must have killed him, which means we should probably be worried about him because they might be really strong now. And we get this really cool panel where everyone, you know, like basically, it cuts to back to our mysterious group, and they're like questioning the leader. They're like, but why Han Solo? Like, why are we so worried about him? Like, why is he so important? He's just a vagabond. Like, he's not anything crazy. And the shrouded character's like, you know, he's involved in everything. Like, he's a part of the Alliance, and like Darth Vader himself is looking for him, and the bounty hunters, you know, are just, you know, Valence is looking for him, and he's, you know, everywhere you turn, he's tied to something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a final panel reveal, which is a big spoiler. So if you don't want a spoiler for this,
giant spoiler,
big spoiler. But we get a final panel reveal, and this group is the Crimson Dawn, and our shrouded figure is Kira. Which I like. I turned the page and I was like, "Is that?
Yeah.
Is that the Dragon Queen?"
Yeah.
And it is. It's the Dragon Queen herself. So this, if you have seen the Solo movie, you will be familiar with Crimson Dawn. And Kira is played by Emilia Clarke.
Amelia Clark.
Yeah, as soon as I saw all of this, I was like, yes, continuity tie-ins. Like, this is awesome. Like, I am so happy that they have brought her back, tied her more into continuity, and involved this Crimson Dawn, which is a really cool callback to like a movie, just like a random movie, like not very involved. It's been mentioned in a couple of different like comic book issues and a couple of novels, but you know, like it's pretty out there as far as like continuity is concerned. So
yeah,
Kira's not, but the group is. So anyway, I thought that was super cool. I really enjoyed that.
No, overall, I like the issue, and it still feels like a heavy metal issue. Like the artwork reminds me of like a heavy metal issue, which I really enjoy. I don't know. I'm really digging the artwork on this book, and then the story is really good too. Like I genuinely enjoy. This is what I wanted Bounty Hunters to be.
So this is what Bounty Hunters is now. The first arc of Bounty Hunters was not good. But ever since then, it has been very good.
Very good. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So also, I do want to say, because I've seen a lot of like, Star Wars is like a double attack when it comes to like people hating, because it's not just comics, but it's also just Star Wars people in general. And everybody thinks they know everything in the world about Star Wars, and they themselves are the experts and should know exactly how stories should end up, and this shouldn't happen. And it gets so overwhelming, because so many people are like complaining like, oh, these writers don't care about continuity. They don't care about, what's happened in the movies. They just want to write whatever stories they want. Kathleen Kennedy, blah, blah, blah. And I get really frustrated by that, because you can have problems with maybe Kathleen Kennedy, that's fine. But like, particularly like Charles Soule, who's writing this book, who has been writing novels, who has really been, it's really central to the story. I think he's doing a really good job of taking come on. How could you have come up with a full event of between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, which is literally the very end of the movie and the very end of Empire, you see them take away Han Solo, and in the very beginning of the next movie, you see Han Solo get broken out. Like, there's no gap in the movies there. And they said they were going to create this whole event based off of it, and I was like, how are you going to do that? And after this issue, I'm just like, that's how you fucking do it. Like,
yeah, hell yeah.
Tying in all this continuity, tying in all these people from this extra Solo movie. I love it.
Yeah,
also,
it's good.
Final thing I want to point out, because I am an absolute nerd, and I don't know if anyone else is going to catch this or not. When the Hutts are talking, one of the Hutts, Jaden, you can totally have beefs with Kathleen Kennedy. I have my own as well, but just not the writers. I think they're doing a great job. Anyway, while the Hutts are talking, one of the old Hutts falls asleep.
That's right.
And they're like, "Hey, like, wake up!" And he is like, "Oh, yes." They're like, "Do you think we should proceed?" He's like, "Oh, proceed. Yes. I believe Chancellor So is a woman with whom we can do business. Those cats of hers, though, I don't trust them one bit." And I'm sure most people read that and was like, because they even say like, "Oh, he's 1,000 years old. Leave him alone. He doesn't know what he's talking about." Mm-hmm. That is actually a direct call to High Republic, which is not involved in any of the comics. So far, Chancellor So has only been mentioned, and her cats have only been mentioned in the Charles Soule novel, where we are introduced to the Chancellor of the Galactic Republic, and she has these two, like, 6 foot tall, when they're sitting down, cats that follow her around everywhere they go, and they always look at everyone like they're about to bite your head off, but they're like super nice to her. It was I don't know, it was just like, when I read that, I was like, Charles Soule, I love you for calling back to your own shit in a tiny little blurb that no one would get except us awesome badass people that have also read your book. So there you go.
There you go.
Now you know.
Let me, you're a little digitized. You look like you're like an 8-bit painting. So let me call you back. No. Let me see what happens here. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, no, you're good now. That was weird. You literally look like blocks.
Oh, that's not good.
So that is the War of the Bounty Hunters number 1.
I don't look like blocks anymore?
No, you look like you. You look like Nathan. So... Anyway, you'll see it when I cut this issue out for episode, because this is gonna be one of our featured segments. So after that, we're done with our Marvel books finally, and now we're gonna jump into our independents. I think we're gonna, focus on some, be really quick on some others. But first, we've got Noctera number 4.
This is the first issue of the series that hasn't been my pick of the week. And that shouldn't tell you how bad this issue was, because it was amazing. That's just how good Nice House of the Lake was.
That's the third time we've said that. Oh yeah, this book is good. This is really good.
Yep. I enjoyed everything about this book, but my favorite parts of these books are the beginning callbacks to when the darkness first happens.
Yeah.
I just love those so much. We only get little snippets. But at this point, they are like about to bail. It's been 5 days now, and they are just like we gotta go, like we can't stay here anymore. And Emery's like, no, like there's gonna be someone that's gonna save us, like I just know it, like we gotta get out of here. And then where the parents are locked in the basement, you see bang 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 on the door, and then their word bubbles are literally black with just white scribble in them. It's just like he even says, Val, what language is that? And she's like, it's get the fuck out of here language is what it is.
Let's
like,
go.
It's we gotta stop. And I mean, he literally like, he's like, we're leaving, and she says we're leaving, and he's like, we always do things your way, and he has a gun. It's like, we're doing things my way this time. And she's like, okay, and hugs him, and yeah, that's how that snippet ends. But basically, the main meat of this issue is Val and the granddaughter, whose name I'm not gonna remember, but have stumbled. They went to the city that just got attacked, that they knew there was supposed to be like a halogen bulb there, whatever the light is that's supposed to be like sunlight that could help stop Emery's transformation. And they go there, and of course they run into some trouble while they're there, but they're able to get the light. And when they go back, they open the door, and Emery is like pretty much, I mean, he's turned, like not 100%, but he's pretty bad. He's got the long gross nails, he's got the red eyes, like he jumps out and tries to attack them, and then they just blast him with light, and he's like, what? And she's like, try to fight it off, whatever. What?
No, you're right. Like that's how it. Like she's like, get over it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, literally, she's like, just chill. Like we're gonna do this. Yep. Yeah, she's very blunt. And then we get a call back to the old trucker lady. Man, I cannot. There's too many names to remember, but I feel so bad when I don't remember names. Like,
no, there's
I love these books, but I just can't remember all these names.
We'll get there.
Can't do it. But she calls to a random ferryman and is like, "Hey, like, you need to look out for this guy." And he's this black top bill guy, and he's like, "Oh, I can't hear you. Sorry, I'm signing off." But then they click over to another channel, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a private channel." And he's like, I can't talk about him. I can't remember. That didn't really go anywhere, did it? She's like, yeah, we can't talk about him, but like, if you've heard the stories in Florida before the big PM, they're bad. So obviously, like, this blacktop Bill guy, whatever his name is a very bad guy, very bad dude,
very very much so.
At one point, we get a panel of him flying down the road in his car with the grandpa strapped to the top.
Turning into a bad dude.
Turning into the darkness things. And he's like screeching. He's like, "Rah!" And the guy that Blacktop Bill's talking to, he's like, "What was that?" He's like, I think it was just the wind.
Just the wind.
I thought that was really funny. Anyway, the whole thing about this is that we see Val and the granddaughter reach their destination where the grandpa was telling them that this massive, beautiful sanctuary was going to be. And they get there, and it's just an open field. And so Val turns the lights on the truck, and they kind of walk out into the open field, and there's nothing there. And then they realize that they're being completely encircled by shadows. Not human ones, but animal ones. Mm-hmm. And I found it super hilarious that Val was posting up with her badass gun, shooting some, and then in one of the panels, the granddaughter is literally sitting in the back with a fucking little
with the
slingshot. And I was like,
excuse
what?
me? Yeah.
What are we doing here? Like, I thought it was very funny. And then all of a sudden the animals just start to turn around and run. They all run away. And Val says, yeah.
That's not good.
That's not good. And granddaughter's like, why? She's like, yeah, because the only thing that makes the animal shadows run is the human ones. And those will super fuck us up. And they start hearing the voices, the same. We start getting the same black word bubbles with the white scribble in it that we got at the very beginning. And it's like, okay, yeah, like shit, this is really, really bad. And right before it seems like they're going to die, a big vault door opens, and it's a guy that looks exactly like the grandpa, which it's the brother. And he's like, my name is Tiberius. I'm Gus's brother. You're safe now. And he lets them down into this cave, and then they keep walking, and Val says, you know, I see something that I haven't seen in 13 years that defined belief. I saw sunshine. And then she saw, and there's like a little flower growing. And Emery is with them. We get a little panel of Val and Emery holding hands. So I was like, for sure he's gonna make Emery stay behind. He's not gonna let them come down there and jeopardize. Oh,
God bless you.
I was like, he's not gonna let Emery jeopardize this little sanctuary, right? Like, no way. But no, apparently he's down there.
Yep. But maybe the direct sunlight will.
So we had two big cliffhanger or big reveals here, that the grandpa was telling the truth, the brother is here, and that they do have sunlight or artificial sunlight, some kind of like. So yeah, we've got big things happening here in Noctera. It was great. It's if you've enjoyed the first 3 issues, you'll definitely enjoy this one too.
100%. I cannot wait for this to be turned into a movie.
Yes.
All right, so next up we've got, say it again, I don't want to say it wrong.
No, you got it.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Basilisk.
This will be a quick one, but again, we say this every week when these come out. This is a Boom #1, Boom Studio #1. Pick it up. Even if you don't read it, just pick it up, because this is required. These books can literally turn on fire at any moment, so pick it up. Even if you don't want to read it. But basically what we get is 5 individuals that seem to have been experimented on, whether it's scientifically or religiously, we don't know. And they all have some kind of power, and they leave some kind of mountain, some facility, and they go into a town, and they massacre it. And we don't know if it was via their own will, or if they were just being very primal in the fact that they've got these abilities. But then we cut to another character who is hunting down our main character here on the cover, and her power is if she opens her eyes and looks at you, you're dead. You're just dead. And she's been tracking her for years, and she finally captures her. And the lady's got this blindfold over her eyes, and she's like, "Don't look at me in the eye. You should let me go. This isn't going to work out the way you think it is." And in capturing her, there were other people trying to find her. And so they get pinned down, and they're in this hotel room, and the girl's like, well, I need to kill you. And she's like, that ain't gonna happen, girl. I'm telling you right now. This group of people come in, and she tells the girl, close your eyes. Just close your eyes and don't open them until I tell you to. And the girl closes her eyes. She takes her blindfold off. She opens them, and everybody just starts dying. Just,
they start bleeding out of their eyeballs.
Yeah, just kind of like in a nice house on the lake. That is the 4th reference there, in the sense that how they die, like they just abruptly die.
Well, there's no fire.
Sure, but there is blood. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. Anyway,
yep.
So they all die. She's like, all right, you're good. She puts her blindfold back on, and she's like, well, thanks for that. Thanks for that assess. She's like, you shouldn't be thanking me, because the 4 are watching. And we see this crow that's watching this whole go down, and the crow flies away, and then it comes to our 4 characters that are here in the back, who appear to have other special abilities, basically saying they need to go find their sister and reclaim her back to the group because she's a renegade. Overall, I'm being very quick in this, but it was a good issue. It was really fun. It was a fun first issue. But there was nothing... Could she kill you if you're blind? I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, that is a very good question.
Maybe
and that's
not.
That has to come up. That has to come up now.
For sure. That might be the weak spot, the blind spot. So bad. Anyway, it was a good issue. It just wasn't anything... It just wasn't like stellar. It was good, but it wasn't over the top good. There were no oh shit moments. It felt kind of expected, I guess.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit predictable. There was a really big disconnect too between the art in the first few pages, which was supposed to be like a little flashback, and then the main art. But I didn't see any two artists credited. Like, it's just one team of art, like just a writer and a colorist. And so I'm very interested if they both were responsible for both styles. Maybe we should go to that first one more. Not that the second one's bad at all; it's pretty good. But I found that to be really interesting.
Also, Robo Ranger 15, thank you for the subscription. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'll be picking up number 2. I will continue this. But it wasn't my pick of the week. I mean, nothing can top that, but it was good. It was decent. And like I said, it's a Boom number 1. Go pick it up, put it in a Mylar, set it aside, and then when you get that CBR article that says Basilisk is going to be turned into a Netflix movie, then go get it encapsulated and sell it for a 9.8 for $150.
There you go.
So that is that. And then our second to last independent book is Tankers number 2 from Bad Idea Comics. This cover is awesome.
Yeah.
The back cover is awesome.
Oh yeah, Jaden. Here's I don't think we showed this off, but here's the back cover. Awesome. Still amazing as always on these Tankers books.
Yeah. Yeah, this really is for me the first Bad Idea from Bad Idea Comics.
This issue?
Yes. Well, no, just in this entire story. Okay. And I'm sure that's done on purpose. Because you never really should time travel and try to change something to get an outcome that you want, because it always is going to be something different and not what you wanted. And that's what we get in this issue. They basically went back in time to create more oil so they let the dinosaurs live longer. And then when they get back to real time, oops, they're still alive and they've evolved to the point where they're killing machines. And we find out that the state of Texas is the only inhabited piece of land on Earth by humans. And we find out that, just everything went awry. The comet didn't come back and hit. Dinosaurs are still alive. They've evolved to the point where bullets don't work on them. And the tankers, essentially in this book, are put on a new mission to go kill themselves.
Yes.
Which I read that and I was like, that's dumb.
I thought that was pretty cool. I
mean, it's cool. It's cool, but it's like, I just thought we were going to go somewhere else. That's in my opinion.
For sure. This book has not gone anywhere that I thought it was going to. The first issue, I was like, there was just enough mystery that I was like, okay, I'll pick up issue 2 just to see what happens. But I'm not excited about it. When I finished this one, I was like, well, okay, there's enough mystery for me to pick up issue 3, and I'm more excited about it than I was after number 1.
Yeah.
So I think it's just enough intrigue to kind of see where this is going. I don't have high hopes for a payoff, though.
We bought the issues, like we're gonna get them. How you have to buy the books, but I don't know. I was just kind of like, when they brought that in there, I was like, I mean, that's cool, but I don't know. Yeah. I actually liked the first issue more than the second issue, so we've kind of flip flopped.
There you go.
But like I said, we're going to continue to read it because we've already bought the issues. We just got to get them.
Yes.
But this cover, though, and the formatting, Bad Idea. Keep it up. They look so good. They feel so good.
Yeah, the cardstock covers and the really thick, glossy pages are super nice.
It feels really good, so I'll give you that. But I just wasn't overly impressed, and I felt like going back and killing yourself was kind of a cop-out, in my opinion. But, we'll see where it goes.
See where it goes.
All right, and now we've got our last book, and I didn't read it, but Nate did. Nate, tell us about Out of Body, number 1 from
this was a last-minute pickup. I saw it, and I was like, Aftershock, number 1. Cool cover, Peter Milligan. Okay. I've never personally read anything by Peter Milligan, but I heard his X Factor run was really good, so I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll read this. And oh boy. It was funny because I was explaining to Jim what this book was about before we started the show, and I was like, man, when I talk about it seems kind of cool, but it's bad. So the premise is we basically have 3 ongoing stories. We've got one story following a doctor who has been in an accident and is essentially cannot control his body whatsoever. And the doctors think that he's brain dead, that he's not there because he can't, communicate in any way. We also have a girl or a young woman who can speak to souls. I don't want to say speak to the dead, because at one point she also gets in communication with the doctor, who is not dead, but he is, I don't know, his soul is not in his body right now. At one point it leaves his body. Then we have a third story, or a third little line of this shrouded mystery bad guy named Dorian, who is like yelling at this guy about how you need to get me a soul. And it's strange, interesting. Basically what it seems like is this young woman who can speak with souls is going to be the way that the doctor communicates that he's still alive. And we get this cool cover because at one point the doctor's partner, this doctor is a research doctor who uses hallucinogenics, uses psilocybin to treat depression. And his partner comes in and is like, I don't know if you're in there, I don't know if you can hear me, but either you're not there and this isn't going to do anything, or you are in there and like maybe this can help you, or at least you'll have a good trip and you can chill out for a while. And so she literally injects him, which I don't like. It's like an injectable needle, like syringe of psilocybin. I don't like whatever. That's not really, I'm not going to go down the road of accuracy there, but and then he proceeds to like trip balls for a while. And that's when his spirit or soul leaves his body, except it really happens, not metaphorically. The biggest issue that I have with this this is that the writing, like the dialogue and the narration, and I really don't want this to seem offensive to anyone. I see Stefan has said that X Factor Ecstatics by Milligan is one of his all-time favorites. I don't mean to offend, but like it's really fucking bad.
Maddie
it's
says
like
shrooms.
Elementary. I'm in. yes, Maddie, shrooms. It's bad. Like it's really bad. Just like the like it's elementary. Like it's very basic. It's very strange. He uses pauses a ton. Like every character is going, are you sure? But they don't have stutters. It's like they're hesitant, but they do it constantly. All the time. Everyone is always stuttering, but they're not stuttering. It's like they're hesitant, but like, it's like, okay, I get it. Everyone's sort of not sure what's going on, but it's like, man, I don't like at one point, this detective comes in and wants to see if he can talk to the doctor. And the nurse is like, no, you can't, because he's like in a comatose state. And the guy's like, oh yeah, he's like, is there any way you can make him communicate with me before he croaks? And she's like, I'll have you know that I am in charge here and I will not be spoken to this way. And then he like pops a candy and is like, listen, lady, I'm the detective here and I'll be asking the questions. And it's like, wait, what? It's just I don't know. It
just sounds kind of disconnected a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I will not be picking up the second issue personally. I will be looking for reviews from other readers. Maybe I just missed it. I read this today too, so it's not like it's not fresh in my head. I literally read it at like noon this afternoon, so it's there, and it felt like nails on a chalkboard reading it. The art was pretty cool.
Yeah, Patrick, I agree with you. The cover is fire though. Like that is
so. Here's the thing. So the cover, I saw the cover. And then I opened the book up just to check out the art. I only opened it to 2 pages. This is the first page.
Fire.
Fire. This is when he starts tripping balls after she injects him. And then I opened to this page, which is like a cosmonaut / submarine dude
Yeah, it looks
suit.
pretty cool.
Awesome. And like, I literally don't know what this is. Like, this is the guy that's supposed to go out and capture souls, but I don't know. Like, he just randomly appears in this.
You know what?
And
you need to let me borrow. You need to let me read this. Bring it to work.
I'll let you borrow it. Maybe I'm totally wrong, because I don't know. It seems strange. What am I feel like I'm missing a lot in chat here, but yeah, I don't know. For me, it was a big miss, but I really want to hear other people's thoughts. Don't take my word for it. Go out and get the book and or at least just like read it real quick. Something. I want to know if I'm totally wrong on this book, because I've heard a couple of people go, "Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it." And I'm like,
yeah, let me get my hands on it. I'd like to read it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that rounds off our 21 book episode. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun. Again, Nice House on the Lake #1 was our pick of the week, both of us. So, it's been a while since we've had a grand slam where we've shot it out of the park and we both had the same pick of the week. But yeah, go check that out. Go check out that book that Nate just said. We want to get y'all's opinion on it. Maybe Nate missed it. I'm going to read it today, or I'm going to read it tomorrow and see how it is. And again, we appreciate all of y'all for being here. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for dialoguing with us. Thanks for the chats. And thank you for everybody that has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate it. We're so close to 250 subscribers, and we're going to give away that slab when we hit it. Hopefully, maybe next Sunday. Next Sunday, we'll give it away, hopefully. We'll keep everybody updated on that. And, I think we actually have a lighter week next week. I think we have 16 books. Cross your fingers.
Okay, so I got a couple things. First, Jaden Gantz, great sci-fi manga, very graphic, bizarre. I will totally look it up. That sounds awesome. Second thing, we are super close to 250, and I'm tired of hearing Jim talk about Dark Knight's death metal. Nope, just Dark Knight's metal Batman suit tie-in. So if we can get to 250 by next Sunday, tell your friends. It's like 14 subs. Oop. I will have an additional something to give away.
Ooh.
On stream next Sunday, and I will give it away to whoever's in stream chatting with us.
So we'll pick somebody from chat like we did that one time.
Yes.
I dig it. So we need to convene tomorrow, figure out what that is. Because when we do give away Dark Knight's metal tie-in Batman Who Laughs, we will be giving away another book when we hit 500 subscribers.
We don't have to show it to them.
No, I think I'm going to show it. So if we do get there, guys, just saying, when we hit 250, then we're giving away this. A 9.4 CGC graded Wolverine #1 from his first ongoing series. This is one of 2 books
with a custom label.
With a custom label. Nate really doesn't want me to give this away. So if we can hit 250, we're on to 500, and then we're giving away this bad boy. So let's go, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah. And Patrick, just in case you're wondering, even if you're in Canada, we will send it to you.
Yep.
So
I don't care.
No worries.
Don't worry about it. So that being said, guys, again, we appreciate you being here. And as always, please, please, please read more comics. Talk to you later, fam.
Bye-bye.